After school that day, I ran into a god. The god asked me, 750 Gaokao points or 75 million yuan, which do you pick? Is that even a question? Hesitating for even 1 second is disrespectful to 75 million yuan. With 75 million yuan in my pocket, who the hell would even take the Gaokao? But I ended up choosing the 750 points. Just because the day before the Gaokao, I came across a post online. The OP asked, 75 million in cash or a perfect Gaokao score? Which would you choose? Ugh, another dumbass question, I thought. So I grabbed my keyboard and started roasting him right away. All you ever do is ask people to choose this or that. Will you actually give it to me if I choose? Unexpectedly, the OP replied, telling me to try choosing first. I laughed out loud when I saw that. Is that even a choice? College students are a dime a dozen these days. 75 million can get 10,000 college students working for me, unless I'm guaranteed a perfect Gaokao score. Being the top scorer would be pretty cool too. The OP replied instantly again, if you choose it, you are definitely getting a perfect Gaokao score. Plus, you will get brand new problem-solving skills. But you can't tell anyone about this, or the powers will stop working. He sounded so mysterious about it. So I casually replied, if that's true, I picked the perfect Gaokao score. If I can be the national Gaokao top scorer, my last 18 generations of ancestors would jump out to set off fireworks for me. Then I tossed my phone aside and went to sleep. Until the next day, the invigilator handed out the exam papers. I only glanced at it once, and I immediately shivered all over. The answers to all these questions started flooding out of my brain like crazy. To be more precise, all the questions I couldn't solve before. Now I just take one look at them, and the full score answer pops right into my head. Then I held my breath. I realized my handwriting that used to look like dog scratches was now as neat as what a professional calligrapher writes. My pupils shrank suddenly. This must be for the presentation score. Otherwise, even if I copied the standard answer word for word, they'd still deduct 1 or 2 points as a formality for messy handwriting. So I answered the questions as fast as I could. After I handed in my paper and left the exam hall to test out this new handwriting skill, I took out a pen and paper and wrote the phrase, I'm super handsome. The handwriting was still perfect. Hell, with this level of handwriting alone, I could be a pretty famous calligrapher. This discovery made me over the moon with joy. Just the Chinese exam alone gave me such an awesome skill. So 75 million yuan is nothing compared to that. When I took the math exam in the afternoon, I was still performing like a total god. For every question, hundreds of solutions popped into my head instantly. A lot of these solutions were way beyond my existing knowledge. They weren't even existing problem-solving methods on Earth. After the math exam ended, the whole exam hall was filled with groans and complaints. Oh my god, that last question. I just looked it up. That's college-level advanced math. The exam setters this year are total freaks, right? In the following exams, I kept crushing it all the way. Tons of world-changing skills popped into my head along the way. When I was the first one to rush out of the exam hall, all the students nearby were totally stunned. This guy must have handed in a blank paper, right? I ignored all these snide comments, leaving only a mysterious, unfathomable silhouette behind me. 2 days later, thousands of top teachers sat in front of computers, grading papers at top speed. Chen Shou, head of the Southwest grading team, walked around patrolling, repeatedly stressing that there must be no wrong grading, because one wrong grade could ruin a kid's entire. Not long after he finished speaking, a grading teacher suddenly stood up. Chen Shou immediately snapped at him. What are you doing? Don't you know you have to keep quiet here? The grader Xia Chuxui looked shocked. Team leader Chen, come take a look at this. I think this is a perfect score essay. Everyone was shocked immediately. We've only just started grading, and we already have a perfect score essay. Chen Shou leaned in to study the computer screen carefully. Just one look, and his expression changed. This handwriting is absolutely incredible. Even if the content was total garbage, I'd still give him 20 points for this. Then he took a look at the content, and Chen Shou got goosebumps all over his body. This student only used a little over 1,000 words to perfectly depict the rise and fall, glory and shame of China. He suddenly yelled, report it! Report it right now. Maybe the first perfect score essay this year will come from our team. A few days later, math grading started. A teacher suddenly exclaimed that there was a problem with a paper. All the answers are correct, but I can't understand any of the problem-solving logic. This same scene repeated multiple times with the rest of the graders. When the Gaokao scores were finally released, I really did get a perfect score, ranking first in the whole country. This caused a huge sensation across the country. My classmates dropped to their knees and yelled, "The gods must be blind!" A slacker like me who never puts consistent effort into studying turned out to be a top student who aced geography amid fierce competition. But even more shocked than my classmates were the professors on the grading review panel. They couldn't figure out how on earth I solved these math problems. No one in the world had ever come up with this kind of solution before. All of a sudden, all the big shots took out their phones, trying to get ahead of other universities to send me an admission offer. Right then, my parents were totally blown away. My dad said to my mom, "Did you watch the news? A high school senior named Lu Chuan got a perfect score. He has the exact same name as our son." After I heard that, I stumbled out of the bedroom. Is there a possibility that this Lu Chuan is me? When I took out my phone to check my score, the 750-point score practically blinded them. My dad froze for a long while, then suddenly bolted out the door. I'm gonna check if our ancestral grave exploded. I quickly stopped my parents and told them I didn't plan to go to college, 'cause I planned to provoke the exam setting team to make them increase the difficulty of the exam questions. Then I'd publicly say I'd take the college entrance exam again next year. For other people, the college entrance exam is for getting a university admission offer. But for me, the college entrance exam is to improve myself. Every time I take the college entrance exam, I can get all the scientific knowledge corresponding to the exam questions and become a top mathematician or physicist. I vaguely remember some shameless countries trying to suppress our rise using all kinds of blockade measures. If we can get those blockaded technical topics to appear on the college entrance exam papers, wouldn't that solve all the problems easily? Of course, I couldn't tell anyone about this. After I promised I'd go to college after the next year's exam, my parents reluctantly agreed to my plan. The next day, a large number of reporters swarmed to our house, wanting to dig up everything related to me. Coming with them were leaders from several top domestic universities. They were already sniping at each other before anything started, preparing to fight for me as their student. When the three of us were about to go out, we were totally stunned by the huge crowd at the door. The leaders swarmed forward, surrounding my parents, offering unbelievably generous terms. Some offered full tuition waivers, plus local residency with subsidies. Others offered a 30,000 yuan monthly living allowance. Southwest College didn't want to fall behind either. They said they'd approve an independent lab for me, with 300,000 yuan annual research funding. And no matter if I enrolled in their Southwest College or not, this funding would always be available. As soon as they said that, people from Gaokao and Shengtang universities got anxious. Wow, playing dirty tricks, huh? We only give the funding if students choose our school. And you're saying you'll give it no matter if he comes or not. That's totally unfair. But then, what I said next stunned everyone present. I said, "Dear teachers, I've already made my decision. I'm retaking senior year for one more year." Everyone's mind went blank instantly. What on earth is going on? A bunch of reporters smelled a huge breaking news and swarmed over right away. Classmate Lu Chuan, why are you giving up college as a perfect score top scorer? My eyes lit up immediately. This was exactly the question I was waiting for from the reporters. 'Cause the exam questions from the setting team this year were way too easy. I got a perfect score without even using half my ability. After the interview was broadcast, the whole nation was in an uproar, especially the students taking the college entrance exam the next year. They bashed me so much I made it to the top of the hot search list. Is this guy out of his mind? Can he stop being such a jerk? The experts on the exam setting team were also furious. This is way too arrogant, isn't it? Does he really think our exam team only has that little capability? After the interview ended, various provincial institutions gave me up to 1.5 million yuan in bonuses. After the news was broadcast, public opinion exploded again. Netizens all said they knew why I didn't go to college. With my grades, if I take the exam again next year, I can easily make another million yuan, right? But I ignored all the trolls online, 'cause I had a date with the school belle Yinwen. We'd had mutual feelings for each other back at school. But she never agreed to date me to focus on the college entrance exam. Now that I had become the college entrance exam top scorer, we officially started dating naturally. A whole year passed quickly. It was the second year. On the day of the college entrance exam, I just arrived at the exam site. Tons of reporters wanted to interview me. Classmate Lu Chuan, how many points do you expect to get in your second college entrance exam? I smiled and shook my head. I guess I'll barely get a perfect score. The reporter was over the moon instantly. He already thought of the news headline. Perfect score genius. Makes bold claim to get another perfect score on second exam. The second reporter quickly spoke up. You provoked the exam setting team last year, which made the experts very angry. This year's exam will be harder than last year's, which has made tons of test takers complain non-stop. I'd like to ask, Is there any misunderstanding here? There's no misunderstanding. I'm not targeting the question-setting team. I mean, all of you here are trash. All the reporters were cursing under their breath. This kid is unbelievably arrogant. Then they noticed the beautiful woman standing beside me. One reporter blurted out, "Excuse me, classmate Lu. Who is this beautiful lady next to you?" I didn't hide anything. I held Yin Wenwen's small hand and said openly that she's my girlfriend. Sure enough, reporters see tabloid news as real news too. They took out cameras and started snapping like crazy. Just one photo like this can boost a news story's click rate by dozens of percentage points. Soon the Gaokao started as scheduled. My hunch was perfectly proven right. The second I finished reading a question, the answer popped into my head automatically, and I didn't have to worry about making mistakes at all. This time I even used a different calligraphy style. That was still good enough to found a whole new school of its own. The two invigilators kept glancing at me now and then, seeing me writing furiously, with barely any pauses. They got curious, so they stood up and started patrolling the exam hall. When one of them saw my exam paper, he was almost mesmerized by it, frozen right on the spot. A 19-year-old young man actually has such amazing calligraphy skills. Is this what a genius really is? When he saw my essay topic, he realized the question setter's trick this year. They asked test takers to try continuing Dream of the Red Chamber. With a minimum length of 600 words, this invigilator was also a fan of Dream of the Red Chamber. He knew how incredibly difficult this task was. Countless people tried to continue it, but none could match the original. They all lacked that unique charm of the original work. When he saw me start writing without even thinking, his expression kept changing again and again. By the time I filled the whole paper with words, he felt like a cat was scratching at his heart. He was so curious he could barely stand it. Other test takers saw me hand in my paper early again and rolled their eyes immediately. Why is this attention hog here again? Can't he stop showing off for 1 second? A few days later, the Gaokao ended. The grading team started their work. All the teachers agreed. They were not qualified to grade my essay. They had no choice but to report it up and ask the review panel experts to assess it together. After leading literary figure Zhang Menglin read my paper, her eyes widened in anger. Where's the rest of it? It's clearly not finished. How can you cut it off right here? She looked like she could eat someone right then. As a die-hard Dream of the Red Chamber fan, there was finally hope to complete the story. But the Gaokao only gave such a small sheet of paper to write on. Chen Qiu from the grading team quickly persuaded her to calm down. This is not a literary research project. Then he carefully asked Zhang Menglin, "What score should we give it?" Zhang Menglin felt powerless and slumped back on the sofa and said full marks. A few days later, grading work ended. The Gaokao results were released. Unexpectedly, I became the national top Gaokao scorer again. All the online haters claimed there was foul play. They demanded a strict investigation, saying a Dream of the Red Chamber. Continuation essay like this could never possibly be good enough to get a full score. They demanded my essay be released to the public. Seeing this situation, the Ministry of Education directly published my essay publicly. As soon as the essay came out, it was reposted by all major platforms in no time. Netizens were all stunned when they read it. Could a 19-year-old teenager really write this? Countless Dream of the Red Chamber fans begged me to release the full sequel. They had been waiting for this moment for far too long. Online public opinion reversed completely very quickly. Countless Dream of the Red Chamber fans started arguing with the haters until calligraphy experts spoke up and said, "This calligraphy has already formed its own independent school. If this was in ancient times, he would definitely be another famous master scholar." What pushed this whole incident to its climax was Zhang Menglin from the Dream of the Red Chamber Association, who showed up at my door with reporters, hoping I would continue writing the rest of Dream of the Red Chamber. I could name any price for the royalties, because right now, besides me, no one can truly complete Dream of the Red Chamber. I saw how stressed out these elderly people were over this, so I reluctantly agreed to their request. After I took the paper and pen, in front of everyone present, I started from chapter 81 and wrote all the way to the end. Zhang Menglin held the papers like they were a rare treasure, sitting in the middle of the sofa. "Please publish this, I beg you. Whatever conditions you have, our Dream of the Red Chamber Association will do our best to meet them." I just shook my head calmly. I wrote this for people to read. Just follow the normal book publishing process. But I do want to ask you for a small favor. Zhang Menglin was in a really great mood at the moment and told me to just say whatever I needed. As long as it was within her ability, she would never turn me down. But what she didn't expect was my request was actually to ask her to pass a message to the exam setting team. to make next year's college entrance exam as difficult as possible. Zhang Menglin stared at me, hesitating to speak. How ridiculously hard of practice problems do you even want to do? Why are you picking a fight with the college entrance exam anyway? She was complaining nonstop in her head, but didn't dare say a word out loud, so she could only reluctantly agree to try. Then both sides reached an agreement. The dream of the Red Chamber sequel would be bought out for 50 million yuan. At the same time, the clip of me asking to raise the college entrance exam difficulty went viral all over the internet right away. Netizens started to bash me. Relevant institutions also responded immediately. They slammed me for being way too arrogant and not understanding that learning is a lifelong journey. But no one expected. 3 days later, the dream of the Red Chamber sequel hit the shelves. It sold out completely the second it was released. It was like a huge slap in the face instantly that left all the online haters completely speechless. Meanwhile, Yin Tianxi, one of the top financial tycoons in the country, was holding the book and crying silently. This kid, Lu Chuan, writes so amazingly well at such a young age. He immediately told his secretary to look up Lu Chuan. Soon after, the secretary sent over an interview video. When Yin Tianxi saw his daughter Yin Wenwen appear in the video, his eyelids started twitching like crazy, and his mouth hung wide open. The secretary beside him thought the chairman was about to lose his temper, and couldn't help stepping back. But Yin Tianxi spoke up instead. This kid. We're already at this point, and he doesn't even come to visit his future father-in-law. He then told his secretary to arrange a schedule to meet up with his daughter. Not long after, Yin Wenwen met her father at a high-end hotel to have dinner together. Yin Tianxi's face darkened. Lu Chuan is your boyfriend, right? Yin Wenwen thought about how domineering her father was, and hurriedly tried to explain how excellent I was, and how hard I worked. Yin Tianxi raised his hand to cut her off. Hard work. You really should work hard. Otherwise, how will you ever deserve my wonderful son-in-law? You should call him husband from now on, got it? Yin Wenwen was completely stunned at this point. What on earth is happening here? Calm down. He poured Yin Wenwen a cup of hot water, rolled his eyes and said, It's not as complicated as you think. That's right. I approve of this son-in-law. But there's one precondition. What condition? Yin Wenwen didn't believe him and was extra cautious. Yin Tianxi was speechless. Really? Grown daughters can't be kept at home. You're already taking your boyfriend's side, huh? Even though I approve of this son-in-law, he already won my daughter's heart. Shouldn't he give me his future father-in-law a little greeting gift? What do you want? The greeting gift is nothing big. Yin Tianxi coughed dryly. Didn't he write the Red Chamber sequel? Can he give me his handwritten original manuscript? Yin Wenwen's first reaction was that something was off. She knew exactly what her dad was like. Of course I have a use for it. Just tell me if that's okay or not. Yin Tianxi said stubbornly, craning his neck. Yin Wenwen said she couldn't make that decision on her own. She had to ask me first. Then go ask him. Yin Tianxi agreed readily, seeing her turn to leave. He quickly added, Hey, be nice to him when you ask, okay? Don't make my wonderful son-in-law angry. Yin Ruchu immediately felt like she was definitely not his biological kid. When she got home, Yin Ruchu told me all about this. I shook my head and smiled after hearing it. I didn't expect Uncle Yin to find out about this. As for the Red Chamber manuscript, I gave it to you a long time ago. Since it's already yours, who you give it to or how you arrange it is all up to you. I have no objections at all. I pulled Yin Ruchu into my arms and kissed her before continuing to speak. You really don't need to be this formal. We're equals, right? Equals? Yeah, that's right. But I still need to get your approval. She let out a sigh of relief, thinking back to the kiss just now. It's so great that you agreed, though. Now there's no more resistance between us. Then Yin Ruchu and I went to meet my future father-in-law. Everything went pretty well at first. Suddenly, my father-in-law coughed dryly. Oh, right, when are you two getting your marriage license? Pfft. Yin Wenwen had just taken a sip of tea into her mouth and spit it all directly onto Yin Tianxi. Dad, I'm kinda busy right now. I knew I had already won my father-in-law over by accident, but I didn't expect it to be this thorough. Uncle, we're only 19 years old. Oh, right, look at my forgetful brain. Yin Tianxi smacked his forehead. We're not old enough yet, but can we hold the wedding banquet first? When can we arrange a meeting with the in-laws? Pick an auspicious date to get the whole thing sorted. My dad Yin Ruchu got anxious right away. Who rushes to marry off their daughter like this? Even though I'm totally on board with this, you can't just say that as her dad, you know? Yin Tianxi waved at her gently, signaling her to calm down. Do you think I don't know this is improper? But a son-in-law this good if we don't lock him down fast. If something goes wrong and someone snatches him away, then what? Hearing that, I was stuck for words for a second. I first calmed down this overeager father-in-law as best I could, then made an excuse and dragged Wenwen out of there. Not long after that, the college entrance exam scores were released again. After I got a perfect score on the exam yet again, all the top universities reached out with offers, but I turned all of them down. I even said the exam questions were way too easy. I hope that for the next exam, the question-setting experts step it up a little, because I want to use this method of working through exam questions to help the country break through currently blocked technologies, but I can't tell anyone about this, or my special power will disappear. Because of this, netizens think I'm way too arrogant. They even showed up at my door. If that were me, but my mindset is already on a whole other level. I directly used the 50 million I earned from writing Dream of the Red Chamber to buy a luxury villa, and kept to myself away from all the drama, until an extremely devastating news story broke. British-made YH-739 passenger plane went missing. 261 of the passengers are Tongo citizens, nowhere to be found. If the college entrance exam question setters step up and let me unlock some new skills through the exam, finding the wreckage of the missing plane shouldn't be that hard at all. At the same time, the education department regarding this year's college entrance exam issued several important instructions. First, exam questions need to keep up with the times and stay relevant to current events. Second, remove the answer sheet limit. Test takers can ask for as many extra answer sheets as they need to make sure that when writing the Dream of the Red Chamber continuation essay, they don't get cut off mid-writing. Soon, the Tango 1013th year college entrance exam began. I could clearly feel the test takers sitting on either side of me, glaring daggers at me, 'cause all on my own. I cranked up the exam difficulty way higher, but the angrier they get, the happier I am. Who knows, in a few decades, some of them might even be on the exam question setting team, and I'll still be right here taking the college entrance exam. As test takers filed into the exam hall one by one, the invigilators also arrived. After the test papers were handed out, both the test takers and invigilators looked at me with a hint of anxiety in their eyes. I ignored them completely and started working on the questions. The first few Chinese language questions were super easy, but I was really disappointed when I saw the essay topic. How to improve postnatal care for SOWs. This essay isn't the easiest to write, but the difficulty is nothing special. Then I picked up the math paper full of hope and was still disappointed. The difficulty was only slightly higher than last year's. Luckily, on the second day, I finally found a hard question on the physics paper. Assume YH-739 has crashed. Try to analyze the crash site using your physics knowledge. This is an extra bonus question, worth only 1 point. When all the test takers saw this question, their scalps went numb. Only I grinned to myself. The time to serve my country has finally come. When I realized how much new info was in my head, it was literally a massive amount. There was even manufacturing technology for a next-gen nuclear submarine. With a maximum diving depth of 20,000 meters, I was trembling with excitement at this moment. Just one single question gave me this many technologies. That's such a huge win. Suddenly a thought hit me. Is this the necessary requirement to find the plane wreckage? But there's still no investigation result in the real world right now. After the college entrance exam ended, all the test takers were talking about the crash site, but everyone had different theories. There was no standard correct answer. Half a month later, the college entrance exam scores came out. Sure enough, I got 749 points. I clearly wrote the correct answer, but they didn't give me a perfect score. It's fine, I'll prove it myself. Online, meanwhile, everyone was mocking me for being past my prime. Reporter Wang Bingbing wanted the public to know my take on this, so she came to my house for a live exclusive interview. She's super professional and has a really sweet voice. Less than 30 seconds after the stream started, viewership already hit over 1 million. The first question she asked me was, "This year during the exam, how did you perform in the exam?" I answered calmly. I did just as well as expected, but the live comments were flooded with angry insults. "You brag about being so great. Then why didn't you get a perfect score?" I looked at the viewer's comments and snapped back. To the viewer who asked this question, "Who told you I didn't get a perfect score?" Wang Bingbing and all the viewers were stunned. Who told me? Who needs to tell us that? The officials already released the results. The highest score in the whole country is 749. Can it even be higher than that? I heard that and said, the grading team made a wrong judgment. My answer was correct, but they didn't even bother to verify it. If I can find the crash site of the plane, that will prove my answer is right. My words immediately blew up the entire internet. The exam setting team was holding a celebration banquet. One of them happened to be watching the live stream They completely lost their minds after seeing this. How dare he say that? Was Lu Chuan a pair of underwear in his past life? Why is he such a huge poser? Right then I stared straight at the camera and spoke calmly. The missing plane is at the very bottom of the Jogoya Trench. Wang Bing was stunned for a second, then quickly realized what I meant. That's the deepest trench in the whole world. He said he would go verify it himself earlier. Can he actually dive 20,000 meters under the sea? After the interview ended, the whole internet laughed and said I must be crazy. But what they don't know is, even though I can't build a submarine on my own, my father-in-law Yin Tianxi is no pushover. On the third day, Yin Wenwen and I flew to Shenzhen. Many large shipbuilding companies are located here. When Yin Tianxi heard I wanted to start a research company, he gave me a whole building directly for free to use as my laboratory, so I announced in front of all the employees, the company's first project is a new type of submersible, to get the plane out of the trench. When news of the new project got out, the internet blew up again. Some even accused me of using the crash to get attention, but netizens soon found out. My company owns hundreds of patented technologies. Even those top foreign enterprises are restricted by these patented technologies. Finally, 3 months after Future Tech was founded, the submersible was fully assembled and ready for underwater testing. Since it can go deep underwater, with no obstacles at all, let's name it the Water God Gong Gong. As the engine started, the diving speed quickly reached 78 knots. The test crew exclaimed, "Is this even diving? It feels like we're driving on a highway. Is water resistance even a thing here?" Right at that moment, the submersible sent back a set of warnings. A submarine is detected lurking in the sea area. I immediately ordered to scan this submarine's data. At the same time, 3 destroyers on the sea surface were carrying out missions. They suddenly received a signal from the seabed. "Who is scanning me? We've been locked on. Where is the other party? Find them right now." But they searched with all kinds of sonar and radar, and found nothing at all. Suddenly, the destroyer's radio operator reported, "Sir, we've received a communication request from them." Captain Xu Hong let out a long breath. "This can't be an enemy country's submarine, otherwise they wouldn't contact us on their own." Right after that, we reported our unexpected discovery during the submersible test. To the captain, "There is a foreign submarine lurking in our territorial waters." After the destroyer got the exact coordinates, Captain Xu Hong immediately ordered to catch the fish. Meanwhile, British submarine commander Ace said with a laugh, "Tang country's radar technology is so backward, they can't find us no matter how we move around." But 3 red dots suddenly popped up on the radar. Ace suddenly realized what was happening. His face changed drastically. "We're surrounded. How did Tang country's backward equipment find us? They started to escape but didn't get far. When they found they were firmly locked by the anti-submarine net." I didn't pay attention to the rest of the matter. This test lasted for 3 full days. Gong Gong 1's performance was absolutely perfect. Future Tech announced it would dive to the bottom of Jogoya Trench to search for the plane wreckage and live stream the whole process. The internet immediately erupted in an uproar after the official launched the live stream channel. Countless netizens flooded in. In less than 10 minutes, the number of viewers exceeded 5 million. As the hatch closed and the submersible sank into the sea, Gong Gong 1 dove at an extremely fast speed. When the diving depth passed 8,000 meters, there were barely any living creatures around. Then more important big names showed up one after another. Even Tang Country Aerospace Group announced they hoped to cooperate with me. Suddenly, a huge dark shadow appeared on the live stream, following Gong Gong 1 at a steady speed. When the submersible turned around, everyone finally saw what this creature was. It was a huge shark nearly 20 meters long, full of sharp fangs. It looked extremely terrifying. I ignored the worried comments in the live chat and pressed a red button with a smile as a purple light shot out from the bottom of the submersible. The megalodon instantly turned into a pool of blood foam scattered in the sea. Senior British Navy officials watching the live stream were stunned. "The electromagnetic gun is actually this powerful. Send 3 aircraft carriers over right now and salvage the Tang State's submersible." It's not just the UK. Xu Hong, the top brass of Tang State Navy, also received an order. "Deploy all Navy forces to rush to the rescue at full speed. It must not fall into the hands of the UK." But me, who's on the seabed, had no idea about all this, and kept driving towards the deepest part of the trench. Soon, a plane wreckage appeared on the monitoring screen. Netizens were shocked that the missing flight really crashed here. Just when the whole internet was cheering, an internal message popped up. Tang State Navy stated that, at present, a large number of warships from various countries have gathered above the trench, and submarines trying to harm Gong Gong 1. Tang State Navy is confronting them right now. and will do everything possible to ensure the safety of me and Gong 1. As soon as these words came out, the audience in the live stream immediately panicked. What are they trying to do? Are they going to start a fight? At the same time, fleets from various countries on the sea surface suddenly accelerated. Xu Hong was very furious, and also very shocked. We must never fire the first shot, otherwise the consequences will be very serious. He ordered that except for opening fire, spare no effort to fend off enemy warships. Inside Gong 1, I was also filled with rage. A thought popped up in my head. Give me 3 years. Tang State's fleet will sail across all oceans. At the same time, I felt sad and heartbroken. If we really collide, and our soldiers get hurt because of this, I'll make them pay for this with their blood. Right now, a full-scale battle between the two sides on the sea is imminent. All kinds of interception weapons roared, frantically intercepting incoming missiles. But the gap between the two sides is too big. Xu Hong's ships can't hold on for more than 3 minutes. At this time, an old man roared in a Navy combat room. Get the Dongfeng Express ready. If they don't cease fire in 10 seconds, we will fight back at all costs. At the same time, sudden rapid alarms went off inside warships of all countries. Commanders yelled to cease fire. Retreat! We're locked on by Dongfeng Express. And because of this incident, industry giants swarmed to me for the submarine I developed. They placed orders worth 30 billion in one go to seek cooperation. Got to show off now that I'm rich. I announced high profile that all employees get triple salary. 2 days off on weekends. Whoever works overtime will be fired by me. Auntie Chen, the cleaner, thought she could get 20K a month and immediately asked her daughter to apply for a cleaner job to scrub toilets. Sure enough, some experts came out and posted articles attacking the high salary, saying it's bad for young people to struggle. After seeing this news, I publicly stated that Future Tech has plenty of money and welcome people with ambition to join us. This operation caused netizens to have polarized reactions. People who scolded me before also turned from haters to fans. Lu Chuan, you are my god. The college entrance examination question group should give Lu Chuan his full mark back. The question-setting team that had been silent for a long time was once again pushed to the forefront of public opinion. Wu Zhenjun, the team leader, said confidently at the beginning that no one could get full marks. Until I went to the sea and proved my ability, he was publicly slapped in the face. Wu Zhenjun suddenly got furious for no reason. I don't buy it. Next year's college entrance exam, I'll put math conjecture questions on the paper. I don't believe Lu Chuan can solve them even then. Right now, I'm receiving Wu Kui, a Navy general. He hopes Future Tech can cooperate deeply with the military to develop a better aircraft carrier battle group than the UK's. As long as I agree, I can ask for any conditions. Even a regimental position in the military is okay. After hearing the military's proposal, I broke out in a cold sweat. They really think highly of me. But here's the problem. I really don't know how to build an aircraft carrier. After a quick thought, I put forward 2 conditions. Mr. Wu, you know I take the college entrance exam every year. When next year's college entrance exam comes, I need the military to help a little and put some aircraft carrier-related questions on the exam paper. I'll answer them. Mr. Wu was speechless for a moment. What kind of weird request is this? Our military research institute has hundreds of billions of funding every year. Is it worse than answering college entrance exam questions? I admit I'm taking a gamble here, but it'd be such a waste not to seize such a good opportunity. Luckily, Mr. Wu finally agreed to my request and will add a related question in next year's college entrance exam. I struck while the iron was hot and put forward the second condition. If I can successfully solve the aircraft carrier problem, I hope Mr. Wu can do me a favor. Get a weaponry R&D and production license. After some discussion, the military representatives left. Future Tech's assistant couldn't help asking Old Wu, "Why did you agree to Lu Chuan's request?" Old Wu said with a mysterious look. "Didn't the college entrance exam get reformed? We'll put a 1-point question in the exam under the military's name. The Ministry of Education will definitely agree to this small request. If Lu Chuan can really help our Navy out of the predicament, let alone 1 weapons trade license, even 30 would be fine." I watched Old Wu's receding figure and prayed that the next college entrance exam would have harder questions, like how to fight back if Thanos attacks the blue planet. Wouldn't that get us there in one go and dominate the Milky Way? Then the military contacted Wu Jianjun, head of the exam question team. The military representative stated their purpose, hoping the question team could add a question to the physics exam paper, a 1-point extra question. When Wu Jianjun saw the question provided by the military, he internally cursed, wondering if the military folks were crazy. If someone could answer this question, it would definitely benefit all mankind. But how the hell can high school students solve this? But the military said their superiors already approved this. This is an order, not a suggestion. Wu Jianjun had no choice but to agree reluctantly. Soon my 4th college entrance exam was about to start. This time I'm going to become a legend. When I arrived at the exam hall, it was already packed tight with reporters. There were even lots of betting pools online, betting on whether I could get full marks again. After the exam started, Chinese, math, and foreign language were all super ordinary. All the examinees were happy. Looks like there won't be any weird surprises this year. But when they got the comprehensive exam paper, the last biology question was actually about cancer and how to cure it. Their minds went completely blank. Countless experts have worked on this for years with no results. And now you're asking us high school students, what makes us qualified to answer this kind of question? Good thing it's only worth 1 point. We can just skip it. I wrote 3 big words on the paper. I can cure it. Then added the general treatment concept. The question didn't provide specific symptoms, so I couldn't write a specific treatment plan. After the physics paper was handed out in the afternoon, the examinees started cursing on the spot. Hey, Proctor, come look at what kind of question this is. We're supposed to write out the research roadmap for future infinite energy. Just then, a sharp pain hit my brain. The controlled nuclear fusion technology suddenly popped up in my mind. This is totally insane. These 2 technologies mean Tang Country's infinite energy era is about to begin. By then, Tang Country's enemy won't be just the UK. It'll be the Trisolarans. Then I raised my hand to signal the proctor and asked him to bring me more answer sheets. The teacher casually asked how many I needed. 200 sheets, my voice echoed in the classroom. Everyone looked at me in disbelief. Lu Chuan, are you going to write the process of making a nuclear bomb? Now it's time for me to show off. Then the proctor saw something he would never forget for his whole life. I held a pen in each of my left and right hands, and another one in my mouth, working on 3 answer sheets at the same time, and my writing speed was so fast it left blurs. This time I didn't hand in my paper early. I only stopped when the bell rang. When I handed in over 200 answer sheets, all the examinees had only one thought. Is this guy even human? The 2 proctors also looked terrified after collecting the papers, because on my physics answer sheets was the research and development of controlled nuclear fusion. Suddenly, the exam hall door was slammed open. A group of fully armed soldiers rushed in. The leading man was a gentle-looking soldier. He said my answer sheets belong to the country and the superiors have approved the military to take over them. Meanwhile, at a military headquarters, Wu Kui waved his hand and deployed the entire Special Operations Brigade to surround the conference building. After the answer sheets arrive, without his order, anyone who leaves the building will be shot on the spot. When the researchers carefully read the answer sheets, they went crazy like they'd taken a deadly poison. Oh my God, this is controlled nuclear fusion technology. Once verified successfully, we'll be 100 years ahead of the UK. How did this information end up on exam answer sheets? Is the college entrance exam this crazy now? A few days later, I decided to start a company focused on nuclear energy R&D. At the same time, Wu Kui heard the news and showed up uninvited. He brought a weapons trade license on behalf of the military and said the military would invest in this nuclear energy project. So with the cooperation of multiple big shots, an energy company valued at trillions was born. According to Wu Kui's plan, as long as we get nuclear fusion done, we can go all the way and build a space aircraft carrier. But then Li Chenggang started mumbling something again. As for the authenticity of the content or whatever, sadly no one paid attention to him. All the experts were going crazy. Amateurs watch the spectacle. Professionals know the ropes, even though they've only gone through less than 1% of the content so far. They are already 100% sure. This is definitely not random nonsense. Every part of it follows a clear logic. In other words, based on what we've learned so far at least, this is real. Nuclear fusion. That's fucking controllable nuclear fusion technology. As researchers who have spent our entire careers working in related fields, but still haven't even mastered nuclear fission very well, we're industry professionals, suddenly seeing actual nuclear fusion technology right in front of us. How the hell would we not go crazy? Hurry up with the verification. Where's my pen? Where's my paper? And make sure you take charge of Chapter 77. It's really controllable nuclear fusion. We must protect every single piece of information here. Supercomputer. I need to apply for supercomputer access right now. I don't think we have enough manpower here. Hey you guys, old Wu, old Li. Hurry up and apply for more staff to come over. The handful of experts and scholars we have now is nowhere near enough. Hurry up and get all nuclear field experts across the country transferred here immediately. I'm not fucking sleeping from now on. Damn, old Zhang. You're already over 70 years old. Are you trying to kill yourself? Let me handle this kind of stuff instead. Hey, someone come here! That person over there. Hurry up and get my stuff for me. Starting today, I'm eating and sleeping right here. Wu Kui, Li Chenggang, Zhu Haiyang, Luo Wen, seriously. You're all so polite and proper on normal days. Turns out it was all an act. This is your real nature, huh? Right? We've all turned into total maniacs now. Wu Kui twitched the corner of his mouth. He looked over at Luo Wen. Luo Wen blinked at him. What are you staring at? Wu Kui laughed and cursed. Hurry up and do as I said. At this moment, he was extremely excited inside. He didn't understand the technology himself. But these experts definitely did, since they were this excited. What did that mean? Wasn't it obvious enough? The entire meeting room burst with activity instantly. Every answer sheet in their hands was a priceless treasure, except for the very first one. It only had answers to regular questions, so no one cared about it. They just tossed it aside casually when they confirmed that the other answer sheets, 9 times out of 10, were really information on controllable nuclear fusion technology. They all went completely insane. Everyone was shoving madly to get closer. Zhang Xianji, who was clearly the chief expert, was old and weak and just couldn't push his way through the crowd. He finally managed to squeeze halfway in, only to get pushed back out again. He was so angry he almost yelled, "You sons of bitches! You're all so respectful to me on normal days, and now you're ditching me once you get something good, huh? All of you, move aside. Let me in. I need to see this." But everyone was out of their minds right now, and no one paid him any attention at all. He was so angry he stomped his feet repeatedly. His white beard was shaking violently, but there was still nothing he could do. That was when he spotted the first answer sheet that no one cared about. He picked it up casually to take a look. Nothing interesting on the first page. Nothing interesting on the second page either. Suddenly, Zhang Shenzi was shocked. What the hell? It's a cancer treatment. What? As soon as he said that, Wu Kui was also stunned. Cancer treatment. What do you mean? It's written right here on the answer sheet. Zhang Xianji leaned over and handed it to Wu Kui. Hey, look at this, you guys. Wu Kui was totally dumbfounded after reading it. No way, the exam setting team is also pulling crazy stunts now. How to cure cancer? They even dare to put a question like this on the exam. Li Chenggang, you're making fun of others. You're not any better, you know. How is this answer? After a brief moment of shock, Wu Kui looked over at Zhang Xianji. The latter frowned slightly. My main research focus is nuclear physics. I don't know much about biochemistry, and I know absolutely nothing about the medical field. But I can say for sure, based on current medical standards, curing cancer is almost impossible, especially middle and late stage cases. Except for a few specific types of cancer, it's almost always a death sentence. And even if there was a treatment, it wouldn't be this simple, right? Traditional Chinese medicine's yin-yang and 5 elements theory? That's way too mysterious. It's not scientific. There's no such recognized theory. What shocked him was that this kind of question even existed, not that the answer was any good. Wait, by the way, why is all this information written on college entrance exam answer sheets? Because these are this year's college entrance exam questions, duh. Monosine responded. Zhang Zhenji was totally shocked. This year's college entrance exam questions. Is the college entrance exam that strict these days? It's way more than just strict. It's literally crazy as hell. It's pretty wild indeed. Wu Kui's mouth twitched slightly. Since when? Did the college entrance exam get this wild? Seems like it started when Lu Chuan burst onto the scene. The second year was okay. It was just continuing Dream of the Red Chamber. But starting from last year's college entrance exam, things already got abnormal. This year it's even more absurd. Using nuclear physics to treat cancer. Even he, one of the originators, thinks it's ridiculous. But this was what Lu Chuan requested himself. Right. Wu Kui didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But Zhang Xianji didn't say much more. After the brief shock, he finally squeezed into the crowd and started studying it with everyone else. Arguing and verifying nuclear fusion technology, Wu Kui, however, frowned slightly, looking over the answer sheet about cancer treatment, and said nothing for a long time. Finally, he said to Luo Wen, "Go make a trip, and get Mr. Pu here." Mr. Pu? Luo Wen was slightly surprised. Mr. Pu's full name is Pu Shisan. He's one of the top national TCM masters. He stopped seeing patients publicly after retiring a few years ago, and was invited by our side to take a leadership role. Whenever anyone has a headache or fever on normal days, or needs physical conditioning, he's the one in charge. And after he came here, the senior leader's health has gotten noticeably better than before, so everyone respects Mr. Pu a lot, and trusts his medical skills. We're just afraid the experts will get too excited, and suddenly have a heart attack, stroke, or blood vessel rupture. Wu Kui was startled. What you said makes sense. Called 2 emergency medical teams over too. Lu Chuan was dumbfounded. Damn. Did I guess right or wrong after all? About an hour later, Mr. Pu arrived. Wu Kui pulled him aside, away from the noisy experts, and showed him the content on the answer sheet. Then said to Mr. Pu, "What do you think of this examinee's answer?" Mr. Pu didn't respond right away. He just looked at it quietly. Until he finished reading, he let out a long sigh. "The answer is very good. At least for now. This is the method with the highest success rate. But unfortunately, it's way too difficult." Too difficult? Wu Kui was surprised. He definitely trusted what Mr. Pu said. But what did too difficult mean? Yes, it's very difficult. This answer has no problems in theory. But the problem is to have this level of medical skill, and it's such pure traditional Chinese medicine too. It's extremely hard to find such a person. Then how many TCM practitioners in our country can do this? Mr. Pu sighed and said, "If it was 10 years ago, there were around 20 over 130 years ago. But as far as I know now, including myself, we can't even count 5 people nationwide." Wu Kui was shocked. That few. But in recent years, haven't we been developing TCM all the time? There are more and more TCM colleges too. It's a drop in the bucket. And we're doing it wrong from the root. Mr. Pu shook his head. Since you want to know, I'll tell you the inside story. Of all people in TCM colleges who can actually learn real skills, there's barely 1 out of 10,000. It's not that they can't learn. It's that TCM's requirements for talent and personal ability are way too high. You have to grow through constant practice, but they only study and have barely any practical opportunities, let alone undergraduates, even master's students, after they graduate with a doctorate. How many dare say they have really good skills? So the best way to inherit TCM is still the master-apprentice system. For example, a master takes an apprentice, starting with copying prescriptions. But it's not just making him copy. The master sees patients and takes their pulses. The apprentice watches and listens on the side, then lets him take the pulse too, and examine the patient. Then the master writes the prescription. The apprentice copies it, and after he finishes, he takes the pulse again to cross-reference and consolidate what he learned. During this process, he also has to study all kinds of medical texts, learn pharmacology and acupuncture. This process usually takes as long as 20 to 30 years. Even for those with talent, they still have to study for 10 to 20 years before they can be considered moderately skilled. But given the current environment and the conditions we have right now, barely anyone has the patience to spend that long learning it. People gotta eat too, you know? They have to make money to support their families. Even if they don't need the money, learning TCM is unbelievably boring. Very few people can stick it out the whole time. On top of that, there are 2 major problems. 2 major problems. Wu Kui was shocked. Before this, he had no idea TCM was this difficult. It's not just hard to learn. There are also 2 external issues. Yep, 2 big problems. First is the issue of medicinal herbs. The herbs on the market now aren't exactly fake, but many low-quality ones are passed off as top grade. They aren't grown for long enough, which makes their medicinal effect insufficient, or they're grown in the wrong production regions. There are tons of such problems. All of these will make the prescription far less effective. Second is the issue of TCM's practical application standards. We TCM practitioners always focus on strengthening vital qi and eliminating pathogenic factors, and emphasize the balance of yin, yang, and the 5 elements. But all this sounds way too abstract. A lot of TCM apprentices, even many TCM doctors themselves, don't understand it, and don't believe in these theories either. So they just memorize everything by rote. How do they write prescriptions then? They just refer to modern medical test results. But modern medical tests and TCM's 4 diagnostic methods, observation, listening, questioning, and pulse taking, are totally different things. Instead of treatment based on syndrome differentiation, they end up just treating the symptoms. It seems like a tiny difference, but the results are worlds apart. Under such circumstances, treating patients is basically all down to luck. If you're lucky and the prescription fits the syndrome, it will work fine. If you're not lucky, at best, the patient's symptoms get worse. At worst, it's basically licensed legal killing. Take white tiger decoction, for example. It's commonly used to reduce high fever. They only know white tiger decoction can bring down fever, but they completely forget that in TCM, high fever is divided into warm heat pattern and cold heat pattern. If you don't do correct syndrome differentiation, and the medicine's properties match the nature of the syndrome, it will only add fuel to the fire and make the patient's condition even worse. At this point, Mr. Hu shook his head repeatedly. He was filled with deep sorrow. The problem of TCM westernization is very common. It's also a major barrier to the development and revival of TCM. Modern medicine is actually a really good thing. All kinds of testing methods are very useful too. TCM doctors can look at these test results and use them as references, but they can't write prescriptions based only on these results. But far too many TCM doctors forget this basic rule, after doing this year after year, not to mention making progress in their medical skills. They might even forget how to do syndrome differentiation entirely. How can they treat patients then, let alone treat or stabilize cancer, to stop it from getting worse? Even I started learning medicine from my father when I was 6. I keep medical books with me every single day. It's been over 70 years now, and I still wouldn't dare say I can cure any disease with guaranteed effect. I can only say there's a chance. Wuki understood what he meant, and couldn't help frowning deeply. Is there any way to change the situation? He was a soldier. Technically, this shouldn't be his business, but he really wanted to meddle in this matter just this once. This is the 5-animal exercise. Early in the morning, in the small yard outside the villa, Ying Ruchu was practicing together with Lu Chuan. After just a few minutes, she felt really sore all over her body. She was very surprised. I'm in pretty good shape, right? These moves don't look like they need much effort. Why am I so tired? Yes, practicing this can strengthen your body. It's very good for our health. Lu Chuan smiled as he recalled the past. Practice it every day, and you'll get used to it slowly. All right, let's go to the company. We have important things to do today. It's time to set up the new project. The 2 extra questions from this year's college entrance exam are still very popular on the internet. Countless netizens are participating in the discussion. Even some foreign netizens have joined the discussion as well. But Lu Chuan hasn't made any public comments and hasn't paid any attention to it at all. An hour later, at the company, Lu Chuan, Ying Ruchu, and Secretary Zhang met in the office. Boss Lu, should we call Li Cheng and the others over? No need. Lu Chuan waved his hand gently. Li Cheng and the others are busy with the shipyard work for now. That's fine. We don't need them for the new project yet. Just call them over to help when we need them. I asked you here to help with project setup. Got it, President Lu. Secretary Zhang sat up straight properly. His hands were already on the keyboard. No need to take notes, especially not on your computer. Lu Chuan was very serious. The project he's about to work on can truly lead the world forward in leaps and bounds. It will leap across an entire era. This kind of technology cannot have even a tiny detail leaked casually. Otherwise, it will cause huge problems. Besides, Lu Chuan was sure he'd already been targeted. Maybe they don't know what he's planning to do next. But everything related to Gonggong 1, those people want to get their hands on. If he's not careful enough and saves these materials on a computer that's connected to the internet, there's a high chance they'll accidentally get hold of it. Of course, even if they get it, they won't figure it out in a short time. But why should we let them take it? Those guys are not good people at all, especially the ones from abroad. They are not our people. Their intentions are definitely not good. As soon as Secretary Zhang heard Lu Chuan say that, he got a lot more nervous too. Get me the highest standard biophysical and chemistry laboratories ready. Remember, highest specification possible. Money is no object. If you don't know what equipment is needed, you can contact relevant experts to ask. Paying consulting fees is totally fine. Next, help me contact some material suppliers. I'll send you the list later. If any of these suppliers are foreign enterprises, after we agree on the price, we must use the fastest speed to import as much as possible in lightning speed, because we probably only have one chance at this. Secretary Zhang's face changed in shock. Wait a second. No, Lu Chuan suddenly thought of a problem. Those guys might refuse to sell to our future tech and try to force conditions on us. This is almost a given. After all, earlier, I offended all those foreign high-end tech enterprises. Now that we want to import materials, there's no way they won't make things difficult and try to screw over future tech. Though theoretically speaking, for the types we need to import, maybe we should find a few more partners. Ying Ruchu suggested that partners import under their own names. That should work, right? That idea works, Lu Chuan nodded. We definitely need partners, of course. For the previous Gonggong series projects, we needed big shots to back us up and solve troubles for us. What we're working on this time is nuclear fusion and its supporting technologies. Future tech can't guard this alone without cooperation. Even if we add Yingtian City Finance and Huafu Group, it still won't be enough. We can't make this stable unless we get the government on board. Let's put this matter aside for now. We'll have them handle it later. As for materials that don't need to be imported, just purchase them normally. Then Lu Chuan looked at Ying Ruchu, smiled and said, help me contact Uncle Ying. Ask if he's still interested this time. Oh right, also ask Uncle Wang, by the way. As for what we're doing, Don't reveal it for now. Just ask if they want to work with us. Of course, they only have the right to invest and get dividends. They have no decision-making power at all. As for the share ratio, Lu Chuan thought for a moment. 100 billion Tango dollars. For 10% of the shares, strictly speaking, this price is very fair. Once the project takes off, it will be worth far more than 1 trillion Tango dollars. But we have nothing right now. It's just me talking off the top of my head, valuing the new project at over 1 trillion already. That's already pretty reasonable. If I ask for more, Lu Chuan was afraid even his father-in-law would get mad at him. Also, no one values a project at its peak worth, right when it has just started. Besides, they're not just contributing money either. They have to put in effort too. Also, Lu Chuan doesn't have enough money on his own anyway. Even though future tech has been making tons of money lately, it depends on what we spend the money on. It might be enough for other projects, but for real cutting-edge high-tech, throwing in 10 or 20 billion won't even make a splash. Even in the chip industry, 10 or 20 billion, even if you throw in 50 billion or 100 billion, you still might not get any results. It's only because Lu Chuan already has the relevant technology that he doesn't need to research and develop everything from scratch. So the capital needed isn't too crazy. Otherwise, developing nuclear fusion from scratch, let alone 100 billion, even trillions upon trillions won't make it work. Some technologies can't be bought no matter how much money you throw at them. It's game-changing after all. 100 billion for a 10% stake. Secretary Zhang was completely stunned. What kind of project has a pre-valuation of 1 trillion already? If it was anyone else, he'd just think the person is totally unreliable, bullshitting just to scam money. But the person who said this is Lu Chuan, so he could only feel shocked. Then Secretary Zhang, go to the relevant departments in person. Apply for all licenses and permits needed for the new project. Got it, President Lu. What category of licenses and permits should we apply for? Energy. Lu Chuan narrowed his eyes slightly. Nuclear fusion. Let's name it Future Energy. It will operate under our Future Tech. As our second subsidiary, why not call it Future Nuclear Energy? Because what I master right now isn't just nuclear energy. I have even more advanced technologies. It's just that with Morangson's current technological level, we can't develop them yet. But after some time, that might not be the case. And nuclear energy. Secretary Zhang's jaw dropped wide open. She was trembling all over with excitement. Goosebumps covered her whole body instantly. Her impressive bust was bouncing nonstop. The next second she thought of something, and was stunned in shock. She asked President Lu, "Did you also get full marks in this year's college entrance exam?" Nuclear fusion. No wonder the initial valuation is over 1 trillion. For this kind of technology, if we actually pull it off, over 1 trillion. 1 trillion is nothing at all. Lu Chuan smiled. I think so. Secretary Zhang was instantly dumbfounded. She almost forgot how to breathe at this moment. But soon she thought of another question. If you can get full marks, doesn't that mean you also nailed that extra credit question? Oh my God, President Lu. Her mind went completely blank in an instant. Even though she has seen a lot of big things, she couldn't stay calm at all at this moment. A moment later, Secretary Zhang left. But Lu Chuan had sharp eyes and noticed some wet stains left on the seat she sat on, including the spot under her bottom, the back of the chair, and even the desk surface. It's not that she peed herself or anything out of fear. She just sweated so much from excitement that her clothes were soaked through. I'll go contact my dad. Ying Ruchu kissed Lu Chuan on the cheek, then left the office with a big grin. She was also shocked just now, even though Lu Chuan had told her about all this before. But seeing Lu Chuan command the room just now, that super confident look of his, still made her completely obsessed with him. She was so excited about it. She could barely stand it. She was scared if she stayed any longer. She couldn't hold herself back. Lu Chuan stretched his arms, took out his phone and found Luo Wen's number. But when he called, it was turned off. It's off? That doesn't make sense. Next, he tried calling Wu Kui, Li Chenggang, and Zhou Haiyang. None of them could be reached. What's going on? Lu Chuan was confused. Didn't we develop this technology together? If you guys didn't set that question, I would never have figured out this technology. So, there's no way you guys blocked me, right? Or is there some emergency? Lu Chuan thought for a moment and figured the second possibility is more likely. So, he decided to ask Secretary Zhang to go to the Navy first, to contact them in person. In a high-end club, Old Wang and Ying Tianxi were having a good time. Ever since their previous cooperation, the two have gotten much closer. Whenever they have free time recently, they often hang out and relax together. Suddenly Ying Tianxi's phone rang. Just hang up the call. Old Wang suggested. No way. Ying Tianxi took a look. It was his daughter calling. How could he hang up? Be quiet, don't make noise, it's my baby daughter calling. Hearing this, old Wang got curious immediately, and quickly went quiet, and perked up his ears to listen. Sweetie, investment in Lu Chuan's new project. Interested? Of course I'm interested. In just a few sentences, Ying Tianxi was beaming with joy. So excited. He almost jumped up. He was originally enjoying the massage calmly. Old Wang, who was just perking up his ears eavesdropping, jumped up like a plump catfish flipping out of water, stood up straight away, and immediately waved the two masseurs out, then strode over to Ying Tianxi's side, pressed right up against him, put his ear to the back of the phone. 100 billion Tango dollars. 10% stake, contact old Wang. Sure, he's right next to me. Wait for my good news. Just a few short words again. The call was hung up. Ying Tianxi shivered, pushed old Wang away. You old rascal. Stay away from me. I'm not into guys. You think I am? Old Wang rolled his eyes. You heard all that, right? Ying Tianxi didn't bother beating around the bush. Good you heard it. Saves me explaining. 100 billion for a 10% stake. How much do we each put in? We can figure that out ourselves. If we don't have enough funds, we can also reach out to other trustworthy, domestic enterprises with clean backgrounds to invest. Just convert based on the proportion, but the prerequisite is they get no voting rights, only get to share dividends, and fulfill corresponding obligations at the same time. So what do you say? Wanna invest? Ying Tianxi picked up the exorbitantly expensive tea beside him, took a sip, waited calmly, and fulfill corresponding obligations at the same time. So what do you say? Wanna invest? Ying Tianxi picked up the exorbitantly expensive tea beside him, took a sip, waited calmly. Huh, invest! Old Wang laughed. Eagle, do you think I'm stupid? Ying Tianxi raised an eyebrow, thought the price was too outrageous. He wouldn't be upset if old Wang didn't invest. He was just about to say goodbye when he heard old Wang say again, Idiot. I'd be an idiot not to invest. Ever since Huafu Group rose to prominence all these years, we've made countless investments, but none have made money this fast, this smoothly and with this little hassle, except for the Future Media project. I've seen Lu Chuan's capabilities with my own eyes. His character is flawless too. His new project needs 100 billion just for a 10% stake. Huh, even a fool can figure out. It's gonna be huge. If I don't invest, I must have lost my mind. Ying Tianxi was slightly surprised. You have that much capital. I'll sell off all futures and other assets I have on hand. I can pull out 20 to 30 billion in a month at most. Does Huafu Group have 70 billion in liquid funds? No, old Wang shrugged. But I can sell stuff. Sell properties, sell plazas. Worst case, I sell them at a discount. Raising money isn't hard. Sell at a discount. You think that highly of my son-in-law? Damn it, don't act like you're not getting a good deal. Old Wang cursed directly. Your son-in-law is awesome. What the hell are you so cocky about? Let me tell you, the only problem is I have a son who's got zero ambition. If I had a daughter instead, even if she wasn't good-looking, I'd spend a few $100 million on plastic surgery just to compete for your son-in-law. Huh, you don't have that chance. Ying Tianxi tilted his head back. My daughter is a natural beauty, and there's no if. Damn it! Old Wang jumped up in anger. Soon, the two started arranging to sell off their assets. They even caused 2 market shocks. Ying Tianxi sold off nearly 30 billion worth of futures in one go, which sent that futures market into wild turbulence. Not only did it drop quite a bit, it also made retail investors panic. A 30 billion futures sell-off directly sent that futures market into wild turbulence. Not only did it drop by a large margin, it also left retail investors panicked. Some of them started selling off too, even by the end. Other financial institutions and large investors were all cursing because they were trading these futures. They couldn't just watch the market crash. To stabilize it, they had to buy up the shares. Normally, as large investors or even financial institutions, buying up shares like this is totally normal. But now they're being forced to buy. They don't even know what's going on. While buying up shares, they're also worried that their information is too outdated, that other people have inside info, which is why they're selling, whether they dare to buy, whether they should buy. So they're buying up shares while frantically asking people for info and cursing nonstop. They finally figured out what was going on. It was Ying Tianxi all along. You son of a bitch. Quietly started selling off large quantities. Then I found out, holy crap, it's you son of a bitch. You needed money for your investment. Damn it, you've screwed us over so bad. Hey, calm the hell down. They kept blowing up Ying Tianxi's phone. The second the call connected, they just cussed him out directly. Ying Tianxi knew he was in the wrong, so he just brushed it off with a smile. As for those interested in this investment, Ying Tianxi refused to say a word about it. You're interested. So I have to bring you along. We're competitors in the same industry. Why would I help you make money? What are you even dreaming of? Old Wang didn't make that much noise on his end, but the properties and malls under his Huafu group were also extremely popular. When major real estate developers heard they were sold at a discount, they went on a buying spree despite their doubts. Their money-raising speed was surprisingly fast. On Secretary Zhang's side, he first went to the relevant authorities to apply for relevant licenses for future energy. As the Chief Secretary of Future Technology, on top of that, future technology already enjoys many preferential and priority policies, so everything was smooth sailing at first. Extremely fast, but after he finished filling out the documents, are responsible for multiple preferential and priority policies, so everything was smooth sailing at first. Extremely fast, but after he finished filling out the documents, the auditor took it with a cheerful smile. When he was about to stamp it and enter it into the computer, he was suddenly shocked. Whoa, that's insane. Main business includes nuclear energy development and sales. There's no such precedent so far, right? Although the government encourages private capital to buy shares and invest in nuclear energy enterprises, that doesn't mean they support you developing and holding it on your own. The staff member looked at Secretary Zhang. His brain was totally fried. I don't dare to stamp this. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He was also completely spooked. You can't just stamp this kind of thing. If something goes wrong later, I'm totally screwed, right? I don't have the authority for this. Secretary Zhang was not surprised at all. He smiled and said, it's okay. Could you help me contact your supervisor, please? Okay, sure. The staff member let out a long sigh of relief. Contact the supervisor. That makes total sense. This hot potato should be handed to him. The supervisor came after a moment. A few more minutes later, the supervisor was completely stunned. His head was buzzing. Secretary Zhang, please wait a moment. I'll contact my supervisor for you. Supervisors and deputy supervisors. Half an hour later, there were already 7 or 8 people standing behind the counter, each with a higher rank than the last, each with a stronger aura than the last. The original counter clerk was squeezed into the corner, trembling there. Even the top person in charge of the unit showed up. But even he at this moment was shaking all over like a leaf, dripping with cold sweat. Even though it was June, the air conditioning here was very low. Normally, if you don't do strenuous exercise, there's no way you would sweat. But now every single one of them was sweating like a pig, wiping sweat like crazy. This is so damn insane. The top person in charge, Chen Wenbin, wiped his sweat-covered forehead. He wanted to cuss. If it was anyone else who brought this kind of document to me for a stamp, I'd have yelled them out the door. Wait, no. If it was anyone else, I'd be cussing. If it was anyone else who brought this kind of document to me for a stamp, I'd have yelled them out the door. Wait, no. If it was anyone else, and my subordinates dared to call me over for this, they would all get a scolding too. Too bad there's no if. Future technology in Shenzhen right now is an absolute star enterprise. Although its current business is only worth tens of billions, everyone knows future technology has a bright future once they decide to go public. A market cap over $1 trillion is not a problem at all, and there are relevant policies. The requirement from above is, under the condition of not violating laws, regulations, and principles, give the green light all the way. But who dares to give the green light for this now? I sure as hell don't. Whoever dares can do it. Chen Wenbin took a deep breath, said helplessly Secretary Zhang. Normally, if future technology wants to set up a subsidiary, we should support you unconditionally. After all, this is also an investment in our Shenzhen, right? It'll also create jobs and bring in tons of talent. But the licenses and certifications related to nuclear energy, I really don't have the authority to approve those. Maybe you can try reaching out to the higher-ups. Secretary Zhang had already expected this. They wouldn't and didn't dare approve this so easily, so he smiled and said no rush. Folks, why don't you listen first? How much we plan to invest up front for the future energy project? Chen Wenbin was stunned for a second. Then his heart started racing immediately. How much? The first phase investment is 1 trillion yuan. Tang Guobi and Secretary Zhang didn't even bat an eye. Other investors only put in 100 billion yuan for a 10% stake. Of course the total is 1 trillion, duh. Hiss as soon as he heard that. Chen Wenbin trembled for a good while. Anger welled up in his chest. He suddenly got the guts to take the risk. Sure, this whole thing is a hot potato, no lie. Like a super hot one at that. But what if we actually pull it off? Putting everything else aside, just this 1 trillion yuan investment, landing in Shenzhen, that'd be such a huge achievement. I thought I had no chance of getting promoted anymore. But if I get this achievement under my belt, who knows, right? Screw it, I'm doing this. That'd be such a huge achievement. I thought I had no chance of getting promoted anymore. But if I get this achievement under my belt, who knows, right? Screw it, I'm doing this. I don't dare to stamp the approval myself, but I can at least give it a shot. Secretary Jiang, I have an idea. Chen Wenbin changed his tune. I'll help you submit an application to the higher-ups. Thanks a lot, then. Secretary Jiang stood up with a smile. Oh, right, comrade. Our President Lu said, this project isn't exclusive to future technology. On top of that, several other domestic capital firms will also join in. At the same time, the military will also be one of our controlling shareholders. As soon as Chen Wenbin heard that, his eyes immediately lit up. The military is joining in too. That changes everything. Right at that moment, he just wanted to ask, why didn't you say that earlier? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I'll definitely do my best. He was this close to thumping his chest to promise. After Secretary Jiang left, Chen Wenbin immediately took the relevant documents and headed to the capital himself. On Secretary Jiang's end, he went to the Navy headquarters to meet Luo Wen, but he was stopped at the gate and not let in, and was told that Luo Wen, Wu Kui, and others are all on a top-secret mission right now, and won't see any guests. Secretary Jiang frowned slightly and said, I'm from Future Technology. President Lu Chuan sent me here. I have an important matter to discuss. Of course, if it's a classified mission, I won't disturb you unnecessarily. I just hope you can pass the message along. When you have the chance... Wait, Future Technology? Lu Chuan? The two guards on duty were slightly shocked. President Lu Chuan sent you? Yes, wait a second. I'll go inform them right now. With that, one of them ran off. He didn't even use his comms device. Secretary Jiang was confused. What's going on? Didn't they say it was a top-secret mission? The remaining guard saw his confusion and smiled. You probably don't know. The leader gave orders. No one is to be received during the mission. No matters are to be handled, except for things related to President Lu. Secretary Jiang suddenly realized, but he was greatly shocked in his heart. No one is to be received during the mission. No matters are to be handled, except for things related to President Lu. Secretary Jiang suddenly realized, but he was greatly shocked in his heart. Wait, the secret mission they're on? Oh, right. Remember before the college entrance exam papers were set? Luo Wen came to visit President Lu. Notify him immediately, got it. Luo Wen pushed his glasses up and looked at Wu Kui. Wu Kui didn't hesitate at all and stood up right away. You guys keep an eye on things here. I'll go meet him myself. The meeting room was already packed to the brim. Nuclear physics and materials experts from various domestic organizations, all trusted relevant experts, had all arrived and were running verification like crazy. They were almost at each other's throats too, arguing nonstop. Wu Kui brought some people with him, picked up Secretary Jiang, and headed straight for Future Technology. Then the two sides met in Lu Chuan's office. Xiao Lu, we meet again? Wu Kui smiled as he saw Lu Chuan again, but his expression was quite complicated, completely different from the first time we met. Back then, he knew Lu Chuan was a real talent, and he had really high hopes that Lu Chuan would deliver even more impressive results. But he never would have guessed that it's been less than a year. To be exact, it's only a little over half a year, and Lu Chuan has already come this far. It's unbelievable, but also totally deserving of loud praise. I was going to come visit you, but I didn't expect you'd come in person, Mr. Wu. Lu Chuan responded with a smile. But for Mr. Wu to come in person, he wasn't surprised at all. After all, the problem was set by the Navy. They'd definitely follow up on the answer immediately. Apparently, the Navy has noticed some issues already. That's normal, though. They have a lot of talented people over there. Of course I had to come in person. As he said that, he took out an arsenal license and handed it to Lu Chuan. Lu Chuan was overjoyed, then got curious right away. Thank you so much, Mr. Wu. Wait, has it already been verified? It's still in the verification process, but all experts have unanimously confirmed. Even if it doesn't work directly right away, it can save us at least 20 or 30. It's still in the verification process, but all experts have unanimously confirmed. Even if it doesn't work directly right away, it can save us at least 20 to 30 years and help us avoid decades of wrong turns. So this license is well deserved for you. Let's make one thing clear first. Isn't that right? Lu Chuan nodded and didn't stand on ceremony, just as he put down the license and was about to talk about serious business. Mr. Wu's phone suddenly rang. What? The verification succeeded. It works, but there's one problem. What problem? Chuan element, a moment later. He put down his phone and looked at Lu Chuan in surprise, who smiled back at him. That's exactly the issue I was about to bring up. I gotta say, those experts work really fast. Wookie gave Lu Chuan a deep look and smiled. I'm all ears. Just now on the phone. Lakwu made it very clear. After the initial disbelief from the experts, they calmed down to do verification and calculation, and went through final rounds of arguments. They have reached a unified conclusion that Lu Chuan's answer is feasible. At least, the controlled nuclear fusion implementation plan written by Lu Chuan has no mistakes or loopholes they can find. But all this is based on one premise, that the required element Chuan actually exists and really has the effects as described. You could say the Chuan element is the foundation of Lu Chuan's entire controlled nuclear fusion plan. Without the Chuan element, none of this works. But if the Chuan element is real, they can probably start experiments right away and even start construction. As for the small problems we might run into, what's to be afraid of? Problems are meant to be solved. You can't get a rainbow without going through a storm. Armchair strategizing, no matter how many times you calculate on paper, is damn useless. We still have to run experiments ourselves. But does this Chuan element really exist? Among all currently known elements, there is no such thing as the Chuan element, and its properties are way too incredible. But Luo Wen also stressed that there is no Chuan element among known elements, and its properties are simply too astounding. But Luo Wen also emphasized, the expert said even if this is a scam, it's an extremely sophisticated scam, and we are willing to step into this scam, even if we get played for fools. The meaning of this statement is more than obvious. Chuan element, Lu Chuan said with a smile, is indeed the foundation of controlled nuclear fusion. What exactly is this Chuan element? Is it some element currently unknown to humans? Why have I never heard of it? Wookie isn't an expert in this related field, but to get to his position, he still knows a bit of relevant knowledge. Chuan element? There's tritium that sounds the same, but no actual element called Chuan. It's not an unknown element. It's an element that doesn't exist right now. So it's normal you haven't heard of it, Mr. Wu. Wu Kai suddenly realized, but didn't rush to ask further questions. He was very calm and patient. Seeing this, Lu Chuan silently complained in his heart, this old man really is something else. I'm no expert in tech stuff. Otherwise, if they heard what I just said, they'd definitely chew me out like crazy. He stayed calm and continued. But it'll exist very soon. Because Future Tech will set up a brand new subsidiary. Then I'll start synthesizing the Chuan element right away. Synthesize a brand new element. There's no Marvel franchise on planet Moran. There are superhero movies in foreign countries, though. But characters like Iron Man don't exist there. The superheroes that Earth people know well. So Wu Kui looked totally shocked right now, with an I knew it look on his face. But he had no way of connecting this to someone like Iron Man at all, even though he didn't understand the tech. Wu Kui knew how crazy this whole thing was, and how massive the benefits would be if it worked. Then what are we waiting for? It's not that I want to wait. The necessary conditions aren't met yet. Lu Chuan shrugged and spread his hands. First, the issue of licenses and permits. You should know this too, Mr. Wu. Our country currently has rules for private enterprise. Lu Chuan shrugged and spread his hands. First, the issue of licenses and permits. You should know this too, Mr. Wu. Our country currently has some reservations about private enterprises holding controlling stakes in nuclear energy firms. We already submitted the application, though. But we don't know how likely it is to get approved. Second, we need to purchase some related equipment, materials and so on. The moment Mr. Wu heard this, got it, puffed. That's such a small issue. I'll handle this for you. As long as what you said is true, you don't have to worry about anything at all. In fact, our entire country will stand right behind you. While you fight your way through all the obstacles, we'll block all the storms for you and help you grow. Hearing you say that, Mr. Wu, I feel totally relieved. Lu Chuan broke into a smile. All right, this cowardly author is chickening out. I'll just keep this part short. Otherwise, the censorship will go on forever. In the future, don't fixate on details about plot points related to the country or the government or the logic and stuff. Just know what's going on, that's enough. So, Mr. Wu, let me ask you, does your Navy, or rather the military, have any interest in investing in our future energy? Of course, Wu Kui didn't stand on ceremony. To be honest, even if you didn't ask, I was going to bring this up anyway. We will support you, of course, but we definitely want to be part of this too. Be part of this. That's fine, Lu Chuan nodded, but you won't get controlling stake. You'll have corresponding decision-making power. You can monitor all operations. You get dividends. You get insider pricing to buy everything you need from future energy. But the technology will remain in my hands. I'm the only one who calls the shots. If you don't agree to these terms, then there's nothing to discuss. Be gentle when you need to be gentle. Be tough when you need to be tough. Lu Chuan was definitely not going to be a doormat. He wasn't scared at all, to be honest. After all, he was fighting for his own interests. And this wasn't just about interests anyway. He trusted the country, but he still had to keep a backup plan for himself. The formula for synthesizing the Chuan element. He would never reveal that to anyone. As for whether they would force him, but he still had to keep a backup plan for himself. The formula for synthesizing the Chuan element. He would never reveal that to anyone. As for whether they would force him to do anything, Lu Chuan believed they wouldn't be that stupid. To kill the goose that lays the golden eggs. He was only 21 years old, and he had already developed controllable nuclear fusion. A technology like that? Give him a little more time. There's no telling how far he can go. It's literally unimaginable. If they make a move against him now, unless they are arrogant, and have their heads bashed in hundreds of times, they'd never do something this stupid. Any normal person would know that they should stay on good terms with him and build a close cooperative relationship, instead of being arrogant. Besides, the terms he offered are more than fair, right? I have no issue with this in principle, but I can't speak for the entire country. You understand that, right? Wookie said after a short pause. I'll report this right away later, and do my best to get it approved. It shouldn't be a big issue. Worst case, I'll yell at all of them. If that still doesn't work, Wu Kui starts rolling up his sleeves. Then we'll be troubling you, Mr. Wu, Lu Chuan says with a smile. Here's my condition. You put up 200 billion yen. For a 20% stake, that's fair. Mr. Wu nods. 200 billion for 20% stake. It might seem like a small share, but don't forget what this project is for. Then I'll wait for your good news. No problem, I'll arrange it right away. Wu Kui stands up and leaves immediately. Right after he gets in the car, he starts making arrangements right away. First, he makes a phone call to the top official of the Industry and Commerce Department. Right at this moment, that official is listening to Chen Wenbin's report and chewing Chen Wenbin out like crazy. What do you mean the military will get involved? How come I didn't get any notification? If this was real, how would I not know? Hold on, I need to take this call first. I'll keep scolding you later. Chen Wenbin huddles there like a bullied little quail. Hello? Mr. Wu. What? Yes. There's definitely no problem on my end. Don't worry. I'll take on anyone who tries to stop this. After he hangs up the phone, Chen Wenbin keeps saying yes. There's absolutely no issue on my side. Rest assured, I'll fight anyone who stands in the way. After the call ends, Chen Wenbin is shocked to find that his old leader's attitude has done a complete 180. Hey, Xiao Chen, I've noticed your hard work all these years. I admit just now, I raised my voice a bit too much. But you know, I always handle matters impartially. It's all for your own good. But things are different now. This thing is going through. Wenbin, you know, yes, everything you say is right. He agrees and says, it's okay. It's all part of my job. What else could he do anyway? Call the cops. Yell at his own boss? But this project is actually happening now. Chen Wenbin's heart is racing with excitement. This is a huge project with over $1 trillion in upfront investment. Once the project kicks off, and we even get a little bit of results, I'll definitely get a huge merit for this. But he has no idea who was on that call just now. Probably someone from the military, right? Future Tech really did get support from the military. That makes sense, though. On his way back, Chen Wenbin gradually sorts out his thoughts. Putting other things aside, just the new material Future Tech developed is insanely good. It's basically all-purpose. It works for underwater use and aerospace use. It can even be used to make gun barrels and fighter jet fan blades. No wonder they're connected to the military. Wait, is the military the one benefiting this time? The success rate should be super high. The more he thinks about it, the more excited he gets. I'm totally gonna skyrocket this time. Meanwhile, after Wu Kui returns to the Navy headquarters, without saying a word, he immediately arranges a private jet to the capital. Then, using his status, he summons almost all top military and government officials, puts forth the Future Energy Cooperation Plan, along with verification results and opinions from many experts. Soon the top officials get into a heated argument. Some support it. Naturally, some are against it. It's super chaotic. Just like a wet market. Soon the top officials break into a fierce debate. Some are in favor. Of course, some oppose it. They're arguing like crazy. No different from a farmer's market. Seeing this kind of scene from these people is really a rare sight. The top military officials, however, are completely united. When they heard that controllable nuclear fusion technology is within reach, and official testing could start very soon, all of them showed great interest and voted in support. But the opinions of the senior officials present vary wildly. There are quite a lot of opponents. Then the high-level meeting turned into a straight-up shouting match between both sides. I'm a military official. I'm not good with words. But this cooperation is an absolute must. I'm a civilian official, but I stay neutral. I won't state my opinion. I don't care if you're military or civilian. My opinion is, this is a waste of manpower and money, and it's clearly way beyond current technological capabilities. It'll all be for nothing in the end. That being the case, why waste so much manpower, materials, and money? Do you actually believe a high school student could develop this kind of technology well before the Gaokao 1 was officially released? Who believed Lu Chuan could pull off the Gaokao 1, even a single new material, is enough to fully upgrade all our equipment? That's a different case. The hell it's different. You know jack shit about this. You don't understand a damn thing. You military folks only reach out for military funds every year and throw a fit if you don't get enough. Do you have any idea how hard it is to make money? A project that's doomed to fail, and 200 billion only covers 20% of its cost. Why don't you just rob us? Bullshit. You're the ones who know nothing. Dignity only exists at the tip of a sword. Truth only lies within the range of cannons. Easy for you to say. Where are we going to get the money? What, you don't want your military budget this year? The argument between the two sides grew more and more heated. Eventually they were yelling so hard spit was flying everywhere. The top military brass almost rolled up their sleeves to fight right then. Finally, Wu Kui couldn't stand watching anymore. He slammed his fist hard on the table. Spit flew out of his mouth. A good distance away. It's just money, right? They were this close to throwing punches. Finally, Wu Kui couldn't stand the sight of it anymore. He slammed the table abruptly. Spit came flying out of his mouth. Far across the room, it's just money, isn't it? If push comes to shove, our Navy will cover this cost. Just give us the military budget as usual. How we spend it is none of your business. But in that case, the shares of future energy will belong entirely to our Navy. If there are dividends in the future, you won't get a single cent. Don't be so rash. Many neutral people spoke up to persuade him at this point. Lao Wu, your temper is way too fiery. Let's discuss this more, okay? Think it through carefully before you make a decision. Think my ass. Wu Kui banged on the table so hard it rattled loudly. What's there to discuss? I've already thought this through completely. Arguing with you guys is a total waste of time. It's settled. The opponents frowned. What you're doing is inappropriate. You're wasting military funds. That's 200 billion we're talking about. You're not even willing to make the necessary investment. Yet you want to get cutting-edge technology. You guys are even worse than a roughneck like me. It's final. Several top military officials spoke up, wanting to see if they could help share the cost. But Wu Kui was furious and refused, saying the Navy would handle it on their own. Wu Kui stormed off angrily. The meeting ended on a very sour note. On the flight back, Lu Chuan was quite worried, sir. Is this really a good idea? What if they just don't want to fork over the money, that's all. Wu Kui scoffed. I only came to inform them of what I'm going to do. This way, no matter how it turns out later, I've already notified them properly, so no one can use this as an excuse to target me. Besides, do you think I actually want their money? To be honest, I'm very confident about this cooperation. Once it succeeds, why would our Navy ever worry about military budgets again? Right now, we're begging everyone we know for funds every year. After this cooperation succeeds, they'll be the ones begging to give us money. Whether we take it or not depends on our mood. Lu Chuan nudged his gold-rimmed glasses up slightly. Even before the cooperation succeeds, they'll be begging to give us money, and we'll decide if we take it based on how we feel. Lu Chuan nudged his gold-rimmed glasses again, and said nothing. That all sounds right on the surface, but he was smiling bitterly in his mind. But if this fails in the end, even you won't be able to take the blame for this, sir. But seeing how confident Wu Kui was, he didn't want to spoil his mood. He could only worry silently. The next morning, Lu Chuan had just arrived at the company when Wu Kui showed up with his team and the contract. People are in high spirits when good things happen. Wu Kui was beaming with joy. He was already in his early 70s, but he was full of energy. It looked like he'd aged backwards at least 15 years in a single day. Done. I've brought the contract. It has the official seals of the military and the government. It's 100% legitimate. Great, that's amazing. Lu Chuan was overjoyed. But the 100% no problem line, he chose to ignore completely. 100% no problem. Maybe it's fine right now, but there's no telling what will happen later, especially if Wu Kui is gone. Who knows what kind of assholes will pop up out of nowhere? That's why we need to keep some aces up our sleeves. These aces aren't just the relevant confidential formulas or core components only. They also include the ability to turn the tide when you're against the wall. At the very least, you need to be able to protect yourself and keep the people you care about safe. He already has a rough plan for this. Once we nail the controlled nuclear fusion technology, we can get started on it. We've got enough time. At least judging by Wu Kui's current health condition, it should be fine. As long as no accidents happen, let's sign the contract. Wu Kui was even more anxious than Lu Chuan to get this done. Can't afford to take it slow! Our navy has been held down for way too long. Even though right now, the large warship is almost ready to be launched, it's still not enough. No aircraft carriers mean no say in international matters. Without nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, we're still at a disadvantage. But if we build a controlled nuclear fusion-powered aircraft carrier, who would dare act tough in front of us? Without nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, we're still lagging behind. But if we can develop a controlled nuclear fusion-powered aircraft carrier, who the hell would dare run their mouth in front of us? Who would dare challenge our navy? We won't go picking fights with anyone first. But we must get this capability as soon as possible, when we face provocation, no matter who we're up against. We can strike with overwhelming force, hard enough to make them beg for mercy. Don't rush, this is a 4-party cooperation. The others should be here soon. Lu Chuan told everyone to calm down. Your father-in-law and who else? Fu and Xiao Wang. Wu Kai suddenly realized Xiao Wang is pretty reliable. He's from a military background. His wife is also, I'm fine with it. It's better to wait for them to arrive before signing. Lu Chuan raised an eyebrow. Looks like old Wang's background is no ordinary one either. That makes sense though. If he didn't have this kind of background, after the Gong Gong #1 was released, I probably wouldn't have had such an easy time. After all, a lot of people are interested in the related tech. It's not just foreign people and forces. And a lot of the time, people on the inside are the most troublesome and hard to deal with. But I haven't encountered a single one of them at all. Clearly, old Wang from Huafu has quite a lot of influence. As for my father-in-law, he doesn't have much of a background. He's first-generation self-made. He might be able to fend off some troubles, but definitely not that many. But this time is different. With the Navy joining in and overseeing things, there shouldn't be any big issues popping up. 10 minutes later, Ying Tianxi and old Wang arrived. The two of them came full of expectation and excitement. Originally, old Wang wanted to get a little more info first, on what the project was exactly about. But when he saw Wu Kui was also there, he was instantly shocked. When he found out the Navy was investing 200 billion alone for a 20% stake, he was completely flabbergasted. Still asking what we're doing. What the hell is there to ask? Just sign it and transfer the money, that's all. It was only after signing the contract, when Lu Chuan told them what the project was, old Wang was stunned. Uncontrolled nuclear fusion energy. It was only after they signed the contract, when Lu Chuan told them the details of the project. Old Wang was completely dumbfounded. Wait, controlled nuclear fusion energy. Can I still back out now? Of course it was a joke. Even though he was shocked. With Wu Kui and the Navy on board, old Wang still had a tiny glimmer of hope that it would work. Then Lu Chuan took out the purchasing list and gave copies to old Wang and Ying Tianxi respectively. Uncle Ying, Uncle Wang, we're all on the same side here, so I'll cut to the chase. Future Tech has pissed off all the foreign enterprises already. If we import under the name of Future Energy, they'll definitely make things difficult for us. That's way too much hassle. We don't have time for that. And we don't feel like arguing with them either. So here's what I'm thinking. I want you two to use Huafu Group's name and Yingtian City Finance's name to purchase these materials. Then Future Energy will buy them from you at cost price. Next up are the quantum colliders. We need 10 units of the most advanced model. We need them as soon as possible. And before the supplier delivers the goods, not a single word can get out. We can't let those foreign companies find out that these are for Future Energy. The two of them nodded immediately. That's no problem. It's no big deal, as long as no ban is issued. It won't affect us for the time being. As for what happens later, old Wang sighs softly. What you did earlier was exactly what I wanted. But you could basically say at the same time, you pissed off every foreign enterprise, and even every other country out there. Once they get serious about this, Future Tech is going to have a really hard time moving forward. This day was bound to come sooner or later. Lu Chuan was already prepared for this. He smiles and says as long as we're strong enough, every problem will solve itself. Believe me, pretty soon. Their products won't be necessities anymore. Even in 3 to 5 years, they'll be begging and screaming to give us their most cutting-edge technology. And we might not even want to take it, because we don't even think it's good enough. Well said, Wu Kui slams the table. I love how cocky you are, kid. You're only young once, you gotta be bold. Being bold is exactly the right move. We're gonna make them look up, so... Well said, Wu Kui slams the table. I love how cocky you are, kid. You're only young once, you gotta be bold. Being bold is exactly the right move. We're gonna make them too beneath us to even reach us. All the contracts have been signed. The payments will come in one after another. There's one more thing right now. We need to arrange as soon as possible. Otherwise, once this goes public, it'll be too late. He stares at Lu Chuan. His expression slowly turns serious. Wu Laoming says. Lu Chuan rubs his chin gently. He's confused. Can't figure it out. Wu Kei shakes his head and sighs softly. It's about your safety, you know? Right now, your safety is our top priority. Got it? Otherwise? Once we successfully develop controllable nuclear fusion technology, it definitely won't stay a secret. We might be able to restrict access to the technology, but there's no way we can block all news about it. Once the news gets out, you'll become the target of everyone. Every country, every organization will want to get their hands on you. If they can't, they'll destroy you. Yin Tianqi takes over the conversation. His face is pale with tension. He was only focused on being shocked earlier. He really didn't think about this. Exactly. Old Wang nods hard. The darkness in the real world is way scarier than you can imagine. Even the stuff written in novels is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just those hostile countries and organizations, even neutral countries, and even those energy and resource-rich countries and groups won't be able to sit still. Because the invention of controllable nuclear fusion will almost instantly knock them from heaven straight to hell. Wait, no, actually, there isn't a single country that doesn't want controllable nuclear fusion technology. At the same time, those powerful countries will never want to see us rise up. And you will become a thorn in the side of every single one of them. It's best for them if they can take you to work for them. If they can't, then they'll just... Old Wang makes a slitting throat gesture. Your safety must be guaranteed. Right, Wu Kui continues. And it has to be the highest level of protection. I'll send 2 squads over. They'll work rotating shifts for 24-hour close protection. At the same time, we'll station a whole battalion around the area. I'll deploy 2 squads centered on you. To provide 24-hour close personal protection, we'll also station a battalion of personnel around the area and set up defenses centered on you. Of course, they won't show up on normal days. You won't even notice they're there. Lu Chuan is slightly shocked. That's so excessive. This highest level of protection is a little too... 24-hour close protection is a bit much, isn't it? Lu Chuan scratches his head. Do we really need the 24-hour close protection? It's kinda inconvenient. I get what you mean. Wu He is calmly sipping his tea, totally relaxed, saying everything is under control. But don't worry. Women soldiers hold up half the sky. We have female soldiers. Lu Chuan, you totally misunderstood what I meant. Okay, fine. Looks like I can't say no, huh? Also, starting now, you're already on the roster of our naval expert group. You get battalion commander level benefits. Once the controllable nuclear fusion technology is successfully developed, you'll get chief level benefits. Wu Kui adds, it's not just you. Wu Kui finishes laying out the arrangements for Lu Chuan, not giving him any time or chance to object. He added that on your parents' side, their safety also needs to be guaranteed, including your future father-in-law. I'm the boss after all. I shouldn't be that unlucky, right? Though someone might target me, I have bodyguards with me. Just being careful usually is enough. Besides, we'll make it public later. We only have the right to investment dividends. We don't have any other rights, do we? With that being the case, what's wrong with that? Wu Kui didn't budge at all. Can't others kidnap you? To threaten Lu Chuan? Well, they definitely could. So don't take this lightly. There are 2 options right now. First, we'll arrange 2 teams of people to protect you. Second, move into the compound. The compound has everything you need, and it's relatively safe. My personal suggestion is to move in. It's safer there. I'm not going, Master Ding said hurriedly. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Wu. You have to arrange some people to protect me, right? After all, I have more than... It's safer there. I'm not going, Master Ding said hurriedly. Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Wu. You have to arrange some people to protect me, right? 1,000 people under me to support. Moving into the compound. Though we'll have everything we need there. It's not really a practical solution. Fair enough, what about your parents? I'll ask them later. Lu Chuan didn't make the decision for his parents. This matter is closely related to their future life. Of course, they have to decide for themselves. Lu Chuan didn't resist this arrangement at all. Safety issues are inherently a top priority. If I already have the ability to protect myself and the people around me, I wouldn't need to worry about this. But right now, I still have to rely on them. If some country or force really can't hold back and causes trouble and chooses to take reckless risks, we have to plan ahead. All right, just contact me after you make your decision. As for the personnel, they will be in place in 2 days at the latest. Okay, I'll head back now. Take care, Mr. Wu. Not long after Wu Kui left, old Wang and Master Yin also left. Lu Chuan gave his dad a call. When he called, the old couple were out playing mahjong. Our family used to be just an ordinary one. They didn't enjoy much comfort their whole lives. Now their son is worth tens of billions. They don't insist on keeping working anymore. Instead, they're gradually getting used to the life of rich people and taking their time to enjoy life. Playing mahjong and eating good food have become daily routine for them. But they only play for small stakes, like 3 or 5 win a round. They never gamble for big money. After Lu Chuan explained the reason, the old couple were a bit worried. After careful consideration, they still decided to move into the compound. In the compound? Unless some powerful country really loses its mind and goes all out to make trouble for them, nothing bad will happen, basically. With that settled, Lu Chuan felt relieved. At the same time, he started working on the future energy project. On the other side, Wu Kui hurried back to the Navy headquarters. After entering the top-secret meeting room, he found that the experts were arguing again. It was so noisy, no one knew what they were arguing. Before returning to the Navy headquarters, after entering the top-secret meeting room, he found that the experts were arguing again. It was so noisy, no one knew what they were arguing about. He immediately announced that the cooperation was successful and that the Chuan element would be available soon. When the experts heard that, they immediately got super excited. Shubai element, Lu Chuan. He named the element after himself, right? He's really amazing. The new generation outshines the old one. We old-timers are gonna be left in the dust soon. You can say that again. Though we don't know yet if the Chuan element can be synthesized successfully, but if it works, according to our current theoretical derivation, his controlled nuclear fusion technology is actually feasible. Even without the Chuan element, these materials can give us a lot of inspiration. We can save years of trial and error. It's really hard to imagine. A 21-year-old kid who never went to college can be this talented. Did he secretly evolve without bringing the rest of us along? The more they talked, the more ridiculous it got. Wu Kui's mouth twitched. Though he also thought Lu Chuan was insanely talented, the secret evolution thing was way too ridiculous. He thought for a moment, raised his own question. Dear experts, I have a question. If element Chuan is successfully synthesized, and its properties match the descriptions in the data, then for the controlled nuclear fusion technology, how long will it take to build and put the reactor into use? After it succeeds, the energy problem of our nuclear-powered aircraft carriers should be totally solved, right? The experts fell silent immediately. Many of them had twitching cheeks. Some had the corners of their mouths twitching. Others even rolled their eyes right away. Mr. Wu, are you being serious? You're our superior. But I still have to say, do you even know what nuclear fusion is? Once we pull it off, forget the aircraft carrier energy problem, let alone sailing in the sea. Even if you make it fly for 3 to 5 years straight, you won't have to worry about energy shortage at all, or need to recharge it again. Sailing in the sea? Are you kidding? Even if you make it fly for 3 to 5 years straight, you won't have to worry about energy shortage at all, or need to recharge it again. That's totally ridiculous, isn't it? We've already cracked controlled nuclear fusion, and you're still worried about energy. As long as we get controlled nuclear fusion working, unless technology advances countless eras forward, and some special equipment, become total energy hogs, otherwise, we'll never have to worry about energy problems ever again. They kept on complaining. Old Wu, you usually don't ask such stupid questions. Plus, you dared to use 200 billion in military funds for cooperation. There's no way you don't know how important nuclear fusion is. After all, this 200 billion was originally for building aircraft carriers. You dared to touch this fund. And now you're telling me you don't have a clear idea of what nuclear fusion is. The speaker didn't mean anything by it, but the listener took it to heart. Even though he was getting roasted, Wu Kui wasn't upset at all. Instead, he was really happy and super excited. Hearing that nuclear fusion is this powerful made him over the moon. And then he suddenly had a brainwave. You guys said even if we make the aircraft carrier fly into the sky, we don't have to worry about energy shortage, right? Yeah, the experts answered casually. Isn't that obvious? Do you think nuclear fusion is a joke? Wu Kui suddenly spoke up. Is there a possibility? I'm just saying, a possibility. We just scrap the previous aircraft carrier plan and get it done in one go. What I mean is, an aerospace carrier. All the experts were shocked. Aerospace carrier. Are you serious? This isn't just getting it done in one go. This is literally leaping over the entire process. But hey, wait a minute. No, seriously, hold on. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. It actually seems doable. The biggest problem was always energy. Once the energy problem is solved, Plus, nuclear fusion is basically clean energy, even if the thrusters aren't that good. And the conversion rate is low, but with an almost endless supply of energy, this problem doesn't seem like a big deal anymore. Wait, no, we still have the thruster material issue. Materials aren't a problem. The stuff Lu Chuan invented. This problem doesn't seem like a big deal either. We still have the thruster material issue. Materials aren't a problem. The stuff Lu Chuan made. That new material is insanely good. I bet even if we fly it in the sky, with the strength of that material, it can fly for at least 3 to 5 months straight, no problem. And the best part is it's cheap. If we really build the aerospace carrier, replacing the thruster-related parts every 3 to 5 months is totally acceptable, right? At this point in the conversation, the experts perked up immediately. Holy crap, this actually might work. No joke, this is actually possible. The experts got more and more excited as they talked. Even the experts originally in charge of aircraft carrier design grabbed drafting paper already and started redesigning. Who knows if it'll work? Anyway, we've got nothing else to do right now. Waiting around is too torturous. Might as well get started on it now. What if it works, right? They got busy. Lu Chuan wasn't slacking off either. The next day, 2 personal security squads came to report for duty. 6 people per squad, all young female soldiers. But their professional competence is top-notch. They are not as glamorous as celebrities or internet influencers, but they are still quite nice-looking. With a little bit of makeup on, they are definitely above 8 out of 10 for looks. Women are no less capable than men. Their temperament is especially unique, full of heroic spirit. Sir, we are here to report for duty as ordered. They salute Lu Chuan. Their voices are perfectly in unison. Lu Chuan scratches his head. I'm not a superior, sir. Report, sir. We are ordered to protect the superior. You are the target. So you are the superior. All right then, what are your names? Report, sir. I'm Long Kai, squad leader of Class 1. Ma Xiaoling, squad leader of Class 2. After the brief self-introduction, Lu Chuan says thoughtfully, starting from today, all of you will wear casual clothes. Military uniforms are too eye-catching. Yes, sir, what's the second point? Stop calling me sir. I'm not used to it. Just call me Mr. Lu. Your public identity is my personal life assistant. Yes, Mr. Lu. Right from this moment on, Lu Chuan and Ying Ruchu. Your public identity is my personal life assistant. Yes, Mr. Lu. Right from this moment on, there are 6 extra people around Lu Chuan and Ying Ruchu at all times. 2 squads take turns to provide close protection. They are really attentive to every single detail. They follow and help out wherever they go. They drive and take on security duties at the same time, even when he goes to the bathroom. 2 of them will wait outside the door. 2 people stand guard at the door when he sleeps. The other 2 rest in the rooms on both sides and wait for their turn to stand guard. Shifts change once a day. This makes Lu Chuan quite uncomfortable, though he feels full of sense of security. Besides, these elite female soldiers from the army are also very pleasant to look at. But whenever he thinks there's always someone standing outside the door, he has to keep the noise down for everything he does. But very soon, he gradually got used to it. For the next 7 days, just 7 days only, all materials and equipment needed to synthesize the Chuan element have arrived. After all, in this world, most things can be solved with money. Problems that can be solved by throwing money at them are never real problems. Building a lab from scratch takes too long. We directly bought one with a lot of money. Some materials and equipment need to be imported. Just throw more money at it, that's all. If brand new ones are not enough, we will buy second-hand ones. I can even offer you a price that's 10 to 20% higher than the brand new ones. Will you sell it or not? If not, I will go find another seller. If no one sells, then we raise the price even more. As long as it's not too outrageous. Just buy it, no more questions. One day, inside Future Energy's #1 physics laboratory, 10 quantum colliders are arranged in a circle. The main door is tightly locked. Secretary Zhang and 2 close protection squads are guarding outside the door. Inside the huge laboratory, only Lu Chuan and Yin Ruchu are present. Why don't you wait for me outside too? Lu Chuan looks at Yin Ruchu and says, this will take me quite a long time, and it has a certain degree of danger. No, I'm staying with you. Yin Ruchu shakes her head with a smile. Don't worry, I won't disturb you. At least when you are tired. I don't care about the danger at all. No, I'm staying with you. Yin Ruchu shakes her head with a smile. Don't worry, I won't disturb you. At least when you are tired. I can massage your shoulders for you. Rub your feet, wipe your sweat. Right? As for danger, I'm not scared at all. I will be wherever you are. Lu Chuan smiles fondly and pulls her into his arms, gives her a loving kiss. Then he says, you better get prepared then. I might not have much time for you for a while, because what I'm going to do next requires my full attention. No mistakes are allowed at all. That's fine as long as I can look at you. I will be fully satisfied. Haven't you heard that saying? Focused men are the most attractive. Then Lu Chuan prepares a pack of military rations. Half an hour later, the busy work begins. First, we need to connect the 10 quantum colliders in series so that they can operate in sync. Lu Chuan starts the operation, takes apart the parts that need to be disassembled. For the parts that need modification, series or parallel connection, complete them step by step. With the knowledge he currently masters, there are actually more advanced quantum collider designs, manufacturing methods, and related technologies. If we build that, only one quantum collider will be enough. But it's too much hassle and way too slow. There are tons of technologies we need to crack and put into actual use. If we have to do everything from scratch, it will take at least twice as long as planned. Other than that, there's only the current solution. Link up 10 units of Molin Star's most advanced quantum colliders in series. They can hit the threshold for Chuan element synthesis once activated. The following work was totally all-consuming. Lu Chuan worked his ass off. He's usually a goofy, laid-back guy who takes things super easy. When free, he loves clinging to Yin Ruchu or messing around with fun stuff. Yin Ruchu always spoils this silly guy and lets him try whatever weird ideas he comes up with. But when he needs to focus and get work done, Lu Chuan never slacks off at all. He worked so hard he lost track of time. He was swamped non-stop day and night. Even when he's drained from back-to-back work, Lu Chuan still doesn't hold back at all. He worked so hard he forgot what day it was. He was occupied around the clock. He had no clue what date it was anymore. Meanwhile, the education department is totally lost right now. The education department staff have no idea what to do. All the leaders are gathered together. They glance at each other. No one daring to speak first. No one says a word for ages. Come on, say something. What do we do? The general director rolled his eyes. I asked you here to brainstorm solutions, not to sit around looking useless. How the hell do we grade Lu Chuan's exam? All the education department leaders hung their heads, staring at their shoes, acting like they're invisible. No one makes a sound. You're asking us, who the hell are we supposed to ask? This whole thing is such a headache, and there's never been a similar case before. Who knows what we should do? Who even gets full scores that many times in a row? But Lu Chuan did it, especially with the existence of Gaokao 1. Almost all citizens across the country are paying attention to Lu Chuan. Everyone's guessing what score Lu Chuan got this time. Though the current word on the street is, almost 99% of people think Lu Chuan can only get 748 points. The public attention is still through the roof, especially since Gaokao scores will be released in 2 days. Under normal circumstances, this wouldn't be a problem at all. Just give him whatever score he deserves. Even a repeat of last year's situation would be fine. But here's the problem. The scores we have on hand are totally messed up. The science section is worth 300 points total. Right now, Lu Chuan's score for it shows 0. It's not that Lu Chuan got every question wrong. It's that we don't even have his answer sheet. What do? We can't just give him a 0, right? Knowing Lu Chuan's temper, he'd definitely throw a fit at us. It's not like we're scared of Lu Chuan. But if this blows up, it will hurt the reputation of the education department. Giving him a full score? No, that doesn't make sense either. That's way too ridiculous. How is that possible? We haven't even glanced at his answer sheet, and we just give him a full score. That's total bullshit, right? Why not just give him 298 points then? Someone suggested this after a minute of silence. But the general director first thought, giving him a full score straight up. That's straight bullshit, isn't it? How about just giving him 298 points instead? Someone proposed this after a short while, but after the general director thought for a moment, he still thought it wasn't appropriate, based on Lu Chuan's previous performance. And his scores on the other 3 Gaokao subjects. 298 points should be no problem for him. But this is the Gaokao. We can't just assign a score based on assumptions, just because we think that's what he would get, especially when this is drawing nationwide attention. What if Lu Chuan insists he got a full score, and asks us to show his answer sheet to the public, and let everyone grade it together? This won't work. That won't work either. Then what do you suggest we do? Everyone went quiet, all with splitting headaches. But the general director actually came up with an idea. All right, here's what we do. Send 2 people over to the Navy headquarters to get the answer sheet back. If you can't get it back, then verify the answers on site. If that still doesn't work, just ask them what score we should give. That actually sounds like a solid plan. But who's gonna go? I'm not going, that's for sure. Everyone hung their heads again. Of course, 2 unlucky folks got picked. A man and a woman, Zhou Xianyan and Lei Jun, both over 50, were the unlucky ones assigned the task. They had to rush to Shenzhen overnight, all grumpy, standing outside the gate of the Navy headquarters. Both of them were trembling a little. Lao Lei, you go talk to them. Why don't you go ladies first, duh. Soon the news was reported to the meeting room. When Wu Kui heard that, he looked at the experts from the education department. They want to take the answer sheet back. Everyone got riled up immediately. No way, that's impossible. Are they messing with us? Do they even know what level of incident this is? It's not just confidential. It's top secret. We can never let them take it. But we can't give Lu Chuan a 0, right? Wu Kui was speechless. How about this? You're all experts, aren't you? You can't be unable to do Gaokao questions, right? I'll have them send over a copy of the test paper. You guys grade the answers, then give the score to the girl. The experts agreed. Then a group of people asked them to send a copy of the test paper over. You guys grade the answers, then send the score over to their side. Sure, the experts agreed. Then a group of national-level experts started doing the Gaokao paper. Every single one of them found it super interesting. Damn, I'm kinda itching to try it too. Maybe I'll take the Gaokao next year. Why would you take the Gaokao? To get destroyed by Lu Chuan? We're done grading, excluding the extra credit questions. It's 298 points, but for the physics extra credit question, we all agree he deserves full marks. So that makes 299 points. 232 points? Wuzki nodded gently. For the biology extra credit question, I talked to my wife about it. She thinks his answer is excellent. Luowen, go make a trip. Reply to the people from the education department. Lu Chuan got full marks on the science comprehensive exam. Full marks, full marks. After Zhou Shenyan and her companion got the reply, their brains were buzzing. No way, full marks. Full marks. They kept muttering this all the way back. Neither of them had processed it yet. Is that even possible? Did I hear that wrong? Unless both of us heard it wrong at the same time. They definitely said full marks. But those two extra credit questions, back at the education department, when they reported the military's response to the higher-ups, a group of leaders were trembling all over, their scalps going numb. Did they actually say that, "Are you sure you didn't hear wrong?" That would be wild if we didn't hear wrong. But how could anyone get full marks on those two extra credit questions? What's the reason behind this? After a bunch of chaos, the head of the education department held back his shock and said, "The answer sheet. They won't give it to us. They won't give it. They won't even let us take a look at it. They even said it's top secret." Xu Xianyan smiled bitterly. "We didn't even see the answer sheet. They gave the full marks themselves. They asked us for the electronic version of the test paper first. Then supposedly their internal experts did the test themselves. Then compared it with the content on the answer sheet, and finally gave the full mark result." The head supervisor was fucking stunned. "This is actually fucking real, no way. How do you expect me to explain this to the public?" Another wave of chaos broke out. Everyone looked at him. Holy shit, this is actually real. How am I supposed to explain this to the public? Another round of chaos. Everyone looked at him.
What do we do, sir?
Yes, sir. The current situation is a bit tricky. What do you think we should do? Just give us the order, sir. We'll do whatever you say. Damn. The head wanted to curse out loud. You're all old foxes. Cut the crap, don't play dumb with me. Every single one of you is smarter than a monkey. Do you think I'm stupid? At a time like this, how can I tell you what to do? If I actually do that, and something goes wrong later, I'll be the one taking the blame, won't I? Do you think I'm an idiot? I called everyone here, so we can discuss this together. What do you mean you'll do whatever I say? That's not how things work. Let's discuss this together. But my opinion is, the best way is to go with what the military said, full marks. Time passed. Finally, the day came when Gaokao scores are released. Countless students, parents, and netizens were paying attention this day. Even a lot of trolls were paying attention too. But right now, most of these trolls want to cry, even want to jump off the rooftop. In one troll group chat, the group members are super upset. The scores are going to be released soon. I'm already on the rooftop of the 18th floor. The view is pretty nice. It's just a bit windy. It's kind of cold. 18 floors isn't even that high. I'm on the 52nd floor. Are you guys for real? I'm on the 3rd floor. 'Cause the self-built house in my hometown only has 3 floors. Damn it, I bet 30 million that Lu Chuan would get a perfect score. But they came up with such bullshit questions this year. Fucking hell, I want that 30 million Sakura coins from the guy upstairs. But a small number of degenerate gamblers are over the moon. Serves you naive fools, right? You think a perfect score is that easy to get, even though he's already got it 3 times in a row. Plus he developed the Gong 1 before and became a billionaire overnight. But the people from the relevant authorities, there's no way they'll let him keep getting perfect scores. So I told everyone from the start not to bet on a perfect score. But none of you believed me. Exactly. The relevant authorities will never let him keep getting perfect scores. I warned everyone right from the start not to bet on a perfect score. But you guys wouldn't listen. Exactly, you guys weren't thinking straight. You can't blame anyone else. As they kept chatting, netizens were also keeping an eye on the scores. Finally, the time came. Apart from exam takers checking their own scores, everyone else, almost all, checked the leaderboard immediately. Then, holy shit, a perfect score? Are you kidding me? Am I fucking possessed? I feel like I'm in a dream. A dream within a dream. I'm dreaming Lu Chuan got a perfect score again. Hey babe, slap me right now. I must be dreaming. After the initial shock and disbelief, netizens slowly came back to their senses. A perfect score? That's impossible. For any previous year's Gaokao, I'd believe someone got a perfect score. But there's no fucking way I believe it this year. Do you even know what cancer is? Do you know what new energy is? It's not just a battery you charge up, that's not new energy. You at least have to solve nuclear fission pollution first. You even need to crack controlled nuclear fusion for that. And someone got a perfect score on this. Do you think I believe that? I sure as hell don't. This score has zero credibility at all. Even though I might get a lawyer's letter for this, I'm still gonna say it's a scam. No one could get a perfect score in this year's Gaokao. No one. Soon after, this incident blew up. While a lot of people were following this story already, it was still within a reasonable scope. But now it's like a Category 18 typhoon, sweeping across the entire internet in seconds. It's even blowing up offline too, except for some remote mountain areas with sparse population, and places with very few young people. The talking point in almost every place is dominated by Lu Chuan getting another perfect Gaokao score. This is so insane. Other than those areas, the talking point in almost every location is dominated by Lu Chuan getting another perfect Gaokao score. This is absolutely crazy, way more shocking than when everyone was stunned. By this year's Gaokao questions covering cancer cures and nuclear fusion, coming up with these questions was definitely super surprising. But compared to someone getting a perfect score on them, that shock is nothing at all. Perfect score, cancer cure, controlled nuclear fusion. Do you believe that? I sure don't. Almost everyone said they don't buy it. Even the few netizens who supported Lu Chuan are shaking in their boots right now, too scared to say a word. The more educated people are, the more ridiculous they think this is, and the less they'll believe it, because it's literally impossible. All of a sudden, claims of scams, fraud, education department misconduct, Lu Chuan having powerful backers. They don't even care about decency anymore, and similar comments started popping up everywhere. People were saying all kinds of things. No one wanted to believe it was real. We strongly suspect there's a scam. We strongly suspect the education department committed fraud. The education department must prove its innocence.